3 live streams in one day. But here we go. Guys, everyone, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love you all. I want to say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. Super chats as well. And also become a member. There's lots of perks. And also Wraithax.eth domain name. Cheers, everyone. This has been a hell of a week, but we have made it through. This week has consisted of buying something big. I have one more big thing to buy, and then I can announce what it is. It has been advising whales. It has been traveling. It has been doing like a lot of different things. I feel like this is what life is about. It's about going and building. It's about going and doing stuff in the background. It's about being like, hey, even though maybe you might not get credit for this, you're at least part of it and you knew what was happening. And this happened because of you. And I'm super excited to be able to go and tell everyone what this is about eventually. But I'll go and say now that we have a lot to go over today. Let me go and take a look at at my YouTube channel here, and I'll go to my actual channel. I'll go to my live, and before we get to the news, I'm just ask everyone to smash that like button. Oh yeah, smash it. Free way to help support the channel. God, I don't even know what to go. It's been so. It's been such a big day. All right, we'll start off with the Disney Pixar moments today. What are the good and bad things about it? What are, I don't want to be, well, a lot of people say that I'm just a moon boy anyway, that is just interested in crypto malfeasance, and I just want money and I just want cash out. So trying to do this as objectively as possible from an outside perspective. Okay, I'll try to do it a little bit bearish, and then I'll do it a little bit bullish, which is a little bit more because I see what's coming, I see what's happening. I can find the bullishness in anything. But the thing today, okay, the drop. Nemo sold out, cool. Sold out about half of Woody, not bad considering that this is not the first appearance of Woody over on the app. But we've had Miguel from Coco did not do well at all. So again, this is going to be a little bit bearish. We're going to go and take a look at how much he actually made. It was, so 5010 minus 4461. So 5010 minus 4461. Miguel actually made $32,000, which is more than the comic made yesterday. Now I get it. Is that a lot for what we've been getting over the last month or two? No, but we've and again, is it a lot for a Disney Platinum moment? No. So I understand why. Oh, hey, if Miguel would have been the ultra rare, would he have sold more? Yes, he would have. If he would have been a cheaper price, would he have sold more? Yes, he would have. So there is some validity to some of what some of these people are saying. Nemo, whatever was the ultra rare was going to sell out. That probably, again, for the short term of this, yeah, probably should have been Miguel from Coco. Again, short term. You have a bunch of people saying like, and even Sanjay, even Mr. MC1. I'll go and I'll take just showing you what he says. Mr. MC1. He's on the Twitter space right now. We'll do that at some point. View found 20 OG sets. Okay. Where are we at? That was 22 hours ago. Okay. Tweets and replies. That's where it's going to be. So he had said, hey, Vivi, you may need to rethink this type of drop with multiple rarities and quantities, but all at the same drop price. It decentivizes people to go for the higher quantity ones. I'll half agree with that. And then he says, especially if the higher quantity ones are also worse rarity and less popular. One leaning, though, is Woody. Sure, sold 3 to 4x Miguel. And I understand that. A lot of these people were saying we're right. He would have sold better if he was the ultra rare with a lot less mints. He would have sold better if he was, less, priced a little bit differently. But here's what I want to say. Maybe you have Vivi that says, oh, hey, maybe Disney put their foot down on these prices. They want it to be uniform across all of the platinum moments. You want it at 60 gems each. Hey, the last Platinum Moment set raised $600,000, and that was when only half of them were first appearances. Now, granted, the ones that were not first appearances were still part of the Fab Five, such as Mickey and Donald. But then you go and you take a look at what we have today, and even though we still raised about $250,000 in like 12 hours, what are the consequences of if we play those dominoes out? What if Miguel was $20 or $30, like some people were asking? Okay, if Miguel was that price, you take a look at, well, then maybe he sells out and maybe he's going for like $30 or $40. Now, for all of time, Miguel is going to be at $30 or $40. You have a much lower starting price for Miguel for the secondary market. And you set that precedent of saying, hey, we're putting the price at $20 or $30. This is what this is what Vivi thinks he should be worth. And again, the consequences of that is it's going to take a lot of inertia to get Miguel over that, at least in the short to midterm. Again, Coco, that movie made more than Toy Story. It made more than Toy Story 2. It made more than Toy Story and Toy Story 2 combined. Now, when you say that, it's like, okay, well, one came out, in the 90s, the other came out in late 90s, early 2000s, and, it was just a different time. And when you take a look at that, you say, like, okay, Woody has had a lot of time to marinate in the market. He's a lot nostalgic. But over the long term of this, again, in one movie, in a time where there's a lot of competitiveness in these markets, you have Miguel from Coco. You have Coco making $800 million. That's a lot of money, especially for an animated movie, especially for an animated movie where you have a minority as, the front and center. Especially one where you have it as, it's sad. You have some feels. And, not everybody likes that. Everyone kind of wants a feel-good movie. They want something where maybe you're not going to, have a tear in there. And also, again, you do have this anti-woke, anti-Disney crowd that goes and they say, like, oh, hey, we don't, they don't want it being woke. They don't want everything being, super woke. They don't want every character to be a minority. They don't want every character to be, X, Y, and Z. They want it to just be, hey, just like it was. Don't make everything, you could have a Spanish person, you could have a black person, you have whatever. And maybe don't make the movie about the heritage. Just make them, whatever. And they could be minority, whatever. What I'm trying to say is that you have this crowd that is anti-Disney, that's anti-woke, that boycotts Disney, that don't take their kids to see Disney movies. And it did all of this. It made $800 million despite that. It's not like when you go and say, hey, Guardians of the Galaxy made, or maybe it was Across the Spider-Verse made $800 million. I think, or no, I think that made $500 million, but Guardians of the Galaxy made $800 million. But that's had, that's a third movie. That's the end of a trilogy. It's had multiple different movies, those including Avengers, in order to build up these characters. They've had major actors in it. You have Chris Pratt, you have Dave Bautista, you have all of these amazing people. And, what did Coco have? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they had, a couple of superstars in there that did the voice acting, whatever. Kids aren't seeing it for the voice acting. Kids are seeing it because, ooh, music, shiny, whatever. And over the long haul, like I've said before, currently, you only have people that are between the ages of 24 to 44, maybe even up to 54. The people that are into the newer stuff, like Moana, which hasn't sold out, people into the newer stuff like Encanto, that hasn't sold out, they're not on the app yet. And again, with the older crowd as well, Tarzan was like one of the worst drops ever. That made next to nothing. Alice in Wonderland, I expected that to do really, really well. Because you've had Alice in Wonderland you had the cartoon, you had the live action show in the 90s, you had the live action movies in the 2010s. And it still didn't do well. Why? Because that's an old IP, same as Tarzan. The old IPs and the really new IPs are not something that has done really well. And when you go, and if you're Vivi and you say, hey, we want to be a company that's going to be around for 50 years, you don't just do something for the now. You don't just do something for like this quarter. It's like, oh, hey, these are going to pump up our numbers this quarter. They want to do something for the long haul. So yes, short term, could they have sold out this drop if they had made Miguel the ultra rare, or if they had made it with less mints, or they had gone and done something that is super, maybe cut the price in half? Sure. But over the long term, if you start at $60, yeah, what is he now? 45? Let's go take a look at this. Let's see what he's at. Miguel on the secondary is $53. So when you go and you take a look at Miguel, who's trading on the secondary, what do you want him to trade for on the secondary? You can only sell so many in the primary. As soon as that's done, that's done. You're not getting any more money from the primary. You have to go to the secondary. All of the money that you're making after it's done in the primary market is on the secondary market. Well, if you start him at $20 per thing, he's only going to sell for $20 on the secondary. Maybe even below that. Maybe he goes to 30. How many of these drops go above retail? Not all of them. If you start at $30, okay, secondary is going to be 25. Start at 20, it might be 15. Now the secondary, you have them at $50. You just get more of a percentage on it. And I get it. Okay, well, 6% on $50 is not a lot of money. And you're right, it's not. But if you're talking about this VV being relevant for half a century or longer, you want them to start out as a higher price point. Again, you can only make so much money on the primary market. The bulk of the money, the bulk of all VV will make, at least for the VV app, not including VVverse, but on the VV app, will be on the secondary market. And I get it. There's not as many people here that can spend $180 to complete this set, as we would like them to be. Like, you think they're not coming? You think they're not going to be going on and saying, oh, hey, they're not going to get here eventually? They will. And when they will, again, people don't see this now. People are not seeing the forest for the trees are in the way. But when you go and you take a look at the long term over the last 6 months, most people, I feel like a lot of people here are just into the here and now. They're just into what VV can do and how much money they can make in a day, where most companies don't. You're not supposed to think like that. If you think sure, you have a couple companies that just care about their shareholders, they just care about what they can make for the quarter, and that's it. But if you want to talk about long term, if you want to talk about long term success and the viability of a multi-billion-dollar company, some people saying that VV and Disney, two multi-billion-dollar companies, they don't know their market, like they don't know their fans. Like, are you kidding me? This is something that they're doing for the long term. And yes, the goal would be to sell out, but do you want to sell out when it's $20 per thing? Or do you want to only sell X amount right now at $60 per thing, where the secondary you're trading at $50? Again, I feel like people only look at that short-term valuation where they say, yeah, we could have made this much money in the short term. And they're right, you could have. But if you want to talk about long-term viability, if you want to talk about long-term, the secondary market is forever. The secondary market is not just for like a year. It's not just for a couple months. These are going to be trading forever, for the life of the app. And yes, you want it at a higher price point to begin with. Because again, if these are $60 per, you don't really want to sell these at $30 per. You don't really want to sell, like if you pay for 60 for them, you don't want to sell them for 30. Pay 60 for them. Again, the market is telling you right now that they're not selling below $50 per one. They will. This is good for the long term. We had somebody else, I won't mention this person's name, that also, this is also the person that said that VV and Disney don't know anything about their market. They don't know anything about again, ignore these people. But he said, oh, waitlist is crap. And he's not the only one. There's a couple of other people that say waitlist is crap. And it's like, okay, well, first you're saying this is a failure of a drop. Guys, you made $250,000 in how on earth is this a failure? No other competitor of what VV is doing right now makes $250,000 on a drop. None of them. They wish they could. Maybe they make it $250,000 every couple weeks if they have a drop every couple weeks, but people don't have enough content. Those competitors don't have enough. They just don't have enough drive. So when you take a look at all of the things that VV is doing, like $250,000 in a day, in half a day, okay, well, that should say something. That should say that no other company in this area can command that. Yeah, we're gonna do a drop. Y'all gonna drop $250,000 on this. That just doesn't happen. So that same person had said, "Oh, the wait list is crap because I didn't get anything in the past 4 wait lists." You realize that's a good thing, right? If you go and you get, let's say everybody that wanted this drop, that wanted the wait list, got the wait list. Okay, well that means there's only so many people. That means there is so few people that want this drop that it didn't sell out. That means everyone that wanted one, got a wait list drop. You realize you don't want that, right? Because if that happens, that means that there's few people that are willing to spend this amount of money. If you don't get it, that means that, oh, hey, there's a lot of people that are going for the same thing that I want. I understand that some people, they don't have delayed gratification. They want something for nothing and they expect to have something. And I get it. If you look at the facts, we have 15,000 active users every week. And you have these waitlist drops that are, 2,000, like for Nemo. Okay, yeah, 2,000 per 2,100. Or Red Hulk, also like 2,200. Obviously, if you're not getting it, it's because there's a larger amount of people that want the product that you're going for, which is what you want. You want that in a company. You want that amount of people going for that. I would be happy if I could never get another drop on a wait list again, because that means there's so many people that are looking to spend money. There's so many people that want to give money to the company that I've invested my life savings in. Again, people, they just don't understand that. They just think short term. They just think, oh, I didn't get what I want. This is crap. This is good. This is a good thing. If you're not getting these drops, again, I don't care if I don't get another drop on a wait list for the rest of my days. That means that there's so many people want to give this company money. So many people are going to want to burn this OMI, to buy extra wait tickets, to buy extra of these wait lists. This is not even a hard call. You have to look at this different. You have to take the, again, I don't want to pat myself on the back here, but the data is out there for everyone. It is that broke mentality where people go and say, oh, this wait list crap because I didn't get anything. Ask not what Vivi can do for you. Ask what you can do for Vivi. I'm almost positive most of y'all get that reference, but if you don't, please don't tell me. I'm going to lose my faith in humanity. This is good. That data's out there. This is the way to interpret it. This is the best way to interpret it. Because if you go and you say, oh, it's just not fair. Okay, life's not fair. Sucks to suck. Get over it. Now, this is some of the bad, like, I'm trying to take something that people are looking at as bad, and I'm trying to make them see the other side of it. Oh, hey, this is actually good, and it's for X, Y, and Z. It's for this reason. So let me go over some other stuff here. Oh shoot, that's not what I want to go over. Okay, we have Darcy Donovan stuff. The crypto pan I think I talked about this morning, which is not. Be advised, there's no crypto pan yet. Blind box, road t-shirts, sound light up image. No, haven't seen many grails. Okay, so we have Henry Pye saying, good morning, Randy. I haven't seen so many grails bought up in 24-hour span on a Mutascan as I saw the last 24 hours. I just had firework. I just had a podcast with Jason and Ryan, firefighters, Los Angeles Fire Department. They're awesome. Love them. And just off camera, we were talking about just life and things. I know that they had to go, so we didn't talk as much as we wanted. But I was talking to them about other entities wanting to go up and buy all of VV's supply. Again, the good thing about VV is that, yes, they make a limited amount, and, that's good for collectors. That's good for us. The bad thing about that is that, if something's super popular, they can't do another print. They can't do another mint run. They can't do another whatever. It's, they can make a little bit off the secondary, sure, but they can't go and make another Luke Skywalker. I mean, I guess they can, but it's going to be a different Luke Skywalker. Maybe it's an old Luke Skywalker, whatever. They can't go and make the same thing. Like if Pokemon has a really fire set that everyone really likes, they could just, they literally bought printers so that they could, printers go burr, and they can make more. Vivi can't do that, and that's unfortunate for Vivi because they can't just turn on that money machine. I mean, they can. They have new content all the time, but there are going to be other entities. There actually have been already that have approached Vivi and said, "Hey, can we buy the rest of your stuff that is not here?" And Vivi says, "Well, you can buy it on the market." There will be other people that go and become the store. You have Recur48, that dude that has, I think, 800 Foster Hilts. They have 800 Peter Quills. That's like 20% of the supply. That person is the store now. If you want one, a large majority of the Peter Quills that are out there belong to that person. I don't have that for anyone. Maybe if you talk about sub 100s, I have 19 sub 100 Cassie Langs. At 19 out of the 59, so I have almost 33%, like 32%. But I don't have that. Even with the Lokis, the most I have for the commons is 2%. Like I don't have that. I have, I think, 2% of the sub 100s for the Marvel Mighties, like the sub 100s. But that's it. Yeah, Smarty Pants. You got the Plutos. Go to the, if you want to be the store, you can do that, and people will do that. And I've seen this before in Pokemon. In like 2018, 2019, people go and say like, "Oh, guys, our days are numbered. Millionaires are coming in, and when millionaires get in, we're not going to be able to have our we're not gonna be able to buy these cards for these prices again." And to their credit, yeah, they're right. As more money poured in, you were not able to get those cards at those prices anymore. You had to pay more. And people are like, "Oh, it's manipulation from the millionaires." Like, and obviously, we already know that there's multiple millionaires in this hobby already in VV collecting. And again, I've seen it before. People are like, "Oh, I don't want to pay that. The price was this, 2 months ago." Like, okay, well, if I can get this particular collectible from the price that it was 2 months ago, I'd pay that. People were paying $700 for Secret Rare Luke Skywalkers. If we could get it for $700 now, yeah, I'd buy as many as I could. I'd buy a dozen of them. It's just, that we just don't have that yet. We don't have time machines yet. But when we go and back to the quote saying, "I haven't seen so many girls bought up in 24-hour span." Guys, this is just the beginning. There's not going to be a ton of super nice people like Brock McBlockchain that say, "Hey, I got this. I want to give other people the chance to get this." There's like VV Gold and Silver logo. Dr. Profit has a couple. I said, "Hey, you have 400 partner statue. Why don't you get a bunch of these?" He's like, "Well, these are meant for like the top tier VV collectors. I don't want to take that away from someone that could be a top tier collector." Yeah, Brock Blockchain saying that for other things. I think he did that for the VV logos. So like, "Hey, these are cool, and I could stack these, and I should stack these, but I want to give other people the chance to get them." So, they're nice. Other people are not going to be that nice. Other people are going to be ruthless. They're going to be sharks. You're going to have other people that will pay influencers to say, "This collectible's trash. You shouldn't get this for X, Y, and Z." And they'll be articulate and they'll be well spoken. And you'll think, "Oh wow, maybe we shouldn't get these because this person who speaks extraordinarily well, who'll be the Obama of VV, is telling me not to do something, saying that this is not good for X, Y, and Z, and it makes sense, so I won't do that." And as the price goes down, you're going to have the whale, that silent whale, come in and buy it all up. And then maybe he'll pay another influencer to talk it up. That's easy. That's so, like, what do you think lobbyists do to politicians? What do you think they're doing to crypto right now? When you have, Wells Fargo 8 months ago saying, like, Bitcoin is stupid and crypto's dumb and whoever, buys it is of a low IQ. Now suddenly they're offering it to their clients. I mean, this is done time and time again, like in the real world. You have people do that all the time, and this will happen in VV. Like we've seen it happen already. Like you've seen people that are paid by other companies to go and bash VV. Are they doing it so they could buy more VV? Or are they doing it because they invested in other companies? And that's the other thing. I had spoken about this on the on the podcast with Ryan and Jason, you had Andreessen Horowitz. I'm going to try to get Mark Andreessen on the podcast, but you had Andreessen Horowitz go and do a $60 million funding round with EveryRealm. And what did they spend it on? They spent it on NFTs that nobody gave a crap about. They spent it on, they were the largest holder of sandbox land for a long time. This is exactly what I was talking about at NFT NYC last year. We have all these companies. They say, oh, you're into NFTs? You're into the metaverse? They talk to these rich people and say, hey, this is what we have. They'll try to explain some code. They'll try to explain like what blockchain is and say like, hey, this is why we're doing it. We have roll-ups, we have this. And you can go and you can make it look like it's the greatest thing in the world. And you can raise a couple $1 million like they did. But because a lot of these other people like with money, they don't know anything. They just think like, oh, this could be my link to this world. And they are, but unfortunately, people have big dreams, they dream too much, and they don't understand the realities of who they're competing with. And, they're getting punched in the face. You had everyone that bought a bunch of land in Sandbox, and they're not the only ones. And I get it. If I was CEO of everyone, I would say, listen, you invest in me, I know what land to buy. I've been buying in metaverses for a long time. Now you have Lil Nas. You have Lil Baby or Lil Nas X. You have Lil Baby. You have Snoop Dogg. You have Paris Hilton. All these people that are partnered with Sandbox yet, but haven't bought land. I know where they're going to buy land because I know the metaverse, because I know this, and all these people with money are going to eat it up. They're going to absolutely eat it up because you can show them what you can do in a metaverse, and some of the videos are cool. Something they might not even show them Sandbox. They'd be like, hey, this, and they could just show them something from Unreal Engine 5. This is the metaverse. What do you think people are going to do? God, if I went private, I could make so much freaking money. I can make so much. I mean, I guess I do in general, but I wouldn't deceive people like that, though. There's a certain cadence to that type of salesperson, and they're not the only ones that do it. You have, again, Andreessen Horowitz do a $20 million funding round with Cryptoys. If you have somebody like talk to them, and it doesn't have to be me, make it Brock McBlockchain, make it somebody that make it Dr. Profit, make it somebody that goes and say like, hey, look at the KPI of this company that you're investing into. Look at the KPI of this company that's a competitor. Look at the KPI of Vivi, and look at all these things. Eventually, people will recognize that, hey, what we've been investing in over the last couple of years is what hedgies were investing in the 2000s. Oh, you had a website. Let me go and they give you a couple $1 million just because you have a website. This is the exact same thing. It's just, Web 3.0. And eventually that smart money will flow into where the best IP is. And who has the best IP? Oh. You could make the argument that Recur has some really cool IP too, as Hello Kitty and Nickelodeon. They have Rugrats, they have Hey Arnold, they have Care Bears. What are they doing with it? Like that's it. They can say, oh yeah, we raised $50 million at a $300 million valuation, and that sounds great. And like, yo, look who's attached to the project. I feel like a lot of these people, a lot of these CEOs, a lot of the COOs of people are not looking at who they're getting into bed with. They're not doing a deep dive into it. And if you think that, oh, Randy Chavez, like, do you think these people aren't doing their homework? This has been going on for a long time. Read the book The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump, and you're going to take a look at some people that get these jobs of, hey, make sure they're on the up and up. They just want to be wined and dined. They just want to be taken out for a nice lunch. They don't look at the properties that they're going to inspect. They don't look at these companies that they're, they have this cushy job. What do they care? They don't have a stake in the company. They're not. And I've seen this time and time again. There's a decent amount. There's a lot of retail that's gone into VV, and more will come. Smart money will get into VV. Some of it is already. More will come. And I know I've been going on for 30 minutes about this. I've barely gone over the news, but I just wanted to get that out. Also, I'm a little tipsy. Let's see what we got here. What does this mean? Oh my God, I gotta. Anyway, moving on here. Option. Don't send crypto. Waitlist stuff. We're in. Ooh, can't say that. Oh, hey, here's a picture of my boss man. He has the number 78. You can't see that. Hold on. Has the number 78 Nemo with his little anemone. I think that's really dope. That's really boss. Um, I did a small purchase today. I'll let you guys know what that is after it sells because there's some. It's a cool date and somebody wants to go and buy that. Should I talk about the signing of the NFTs? All right, I'll talk about the signing of the NFTs right now, and then I'll do it in a video again tomorrow. But this is, I could talk for an hour about this. Let's just shorten that out to like 5 or 6 minutes. Okay. Disney is about to let celebrities sign your NFT. Patent application US, blah, 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 published on 6 April 2023, explains the coordination and management of digital asset endorsements. And you go and you take a look at, okay, well, you have to publish the public key. You have to link the key to a digital wallet and social media profile. Now, Facebook and Meta has done this before. Twitter has done this before. This is going to be par for the course. Their social media, let people link their wallet. Let them show their NFTs. That will be par for the course in the future. You mint signed NFT edition with signature from private key, meaning, oh, hey, if you have it there, it's automatically signed. You don't have to do much. It just goes to a wallet. It's technically signed. It goes somewhere else. You create and issue an NFT with a GPG signature. You post the NFTs for sale, and the transaction can be mediated via the platform. I'm going to say that's VV, but it could be anything that Disney is partnering with. Again, this is a Disney patent, and they're saying post NFTs for sale, and the transaction can be mediated via the platform. What other places are going to have this? Cryptoys doesn't have the marketplace even open yet. This is going to be VV. Just throwing that out there. It could be not. But you view the NFTs, you verify the authenticity of the celebrity wallet and the signature, you collect the NFT, and then you transfer the signed NFT. It's all in Figure 3A. This is all in their patent. And then you say, okay, well, you obtaining the endorsement of a celebrity, other type of famous person or entity can be challenging. Having an item autographed requires proximity in a physical space, and the endorsing party must either manually sign each item, use a reproducible stamp to make it, or for digital signatures, the industry standard is presently a transparent copy of a physical signature overlaid on an image or document, placing the signature style at risk of forgery. All you have to do is put it in a wallet. That wallet will have a stamp on there already. You'll get it done. Thus, existing approaches to applying a physical or digital endorsement to an item or a digital asset are inconvenient in that the existing approaches are manually demanding, difficult to authenticate, or both. But the digital asset endorsement coordination and management solution disclosed in the present application utilizes verified cryptocurrency wallets and introduces a novel and inventive automated process for digital asset transferal. We've had transfers on VV for quite a while. If it's for something like this, there might be like a microtransaction, like something that's $1 or something, or a penny, whatever it is. Transfer, it goes back. It could even be listed in smart contracts. Hey, if transfer, let transfer, like again, the coding for that should be fairly simple as far as if and let statements go. Making it possible to execute a cryptographic signature process from a celebrity wallet in the midst of an NFT or other digital asset transaction, thereby advantageously adding an instantly verifiable and cryptographically secure signature to any NFT asset. The celebrities might not even know that it's happening, because if it's in the smart contract, oh, send here and then come right back. It should be very, very simple to do. You have to spend, why do you have to spend $50 for a photo and a signature at Comic-Con? You have to take the time. They have to manually write it out. It takes time to do that. For this, send it to the wallet, smart contract bounces it back in a minute, and you're done. You don't have to wait in lines. You don't have to go and stand next to people that smell. You don't have to stand next to weird people or make idle conversation. You just click a button, and it's signed. And I get it. Some people pay for the experience. Oh, hey, Tom Brady. Oh, hey, like this person. And that's cool. Physical signatures are awesome, and they're about to be even more scarce when every single signature is going to be digital in the next 10 years. This is Physical signatures are going to be great. I mean, they've always been great. But this is going to be the way of the world. I remember a few years ago wanting to get a signature by, I forget, Atsira. Oh my god, I'm forgetting who created Charizard. Oh my god, I'm gonna Google this real quick. Who drew Charizard? It's an A and an H. Who drew Charizard? No, that's Atsuki Nishida. Illustrator Charizard, Jiro Susumu. Okay, hold on. Mitsuhiro Arita. Okay. When Mitsuhiro Arita, like, I wanted to go and fly, take a couple days off work, spend a couple $100, probably even $1,000 on airfare and on a hotel just to get him to sign something. People in 10 years are going to be like, wait, people used to do that? People used to spend $1,000 with their physical item just to go and get airfare and a hotel, and not including the time it takes that you're off work, so you're not making money. People used to do that. Yeah, that's what you did before the digital stuff. Now you click a button and it's signed. Boom, it's done. And the signatures won't get devalued. They won't get watered down. Why? Because whoever the voice actor is of Coco or Miguel from Coco, there can only be 5,010 of those signatures on that one, because they can't be mass produced. To go and get a signature on the first Nemo, whoever voices Nemo, for Woody, Tim Allen. Okay, we'll get that signature soon. Tim Allen's not a young man anymore. He's not long for this world. Guys, this is the future. And I know Disney might be doing this for all aspects of Disney, whatever, in the future. But you can be damn sure Vivi's going to be one of the testers. Moving on. TLDR, Disney has applied for a patent regarding the endorsement of NFTs. This enables, for example, celebrities to sign your NFT. Which one of your NFTs would you like to be signed? That's pretty cool. And I realize I'm talking for 37 minutes. I'll go over one more thing. Go to the 40-minute mark and then I'll answer questions. We have Delco Dude saying, when my son was born, he couldn't use his right arm. And through a lot of work and PT, we have seen almost 100% improvement. His nickname, Nemo, came as he would watch the movie on repeat. Thank you, Bright Colors. Thanks, VV Official, for letting him see this Nemo in another exciting way. And I think that's really cool, because you get Nemo. I think I took a picture of somebody that had a bunch of these Nemos. Yeah, you have Cole E. Brown that went and posted a picture of his 5 Nemos. He's got a school of Nemos. He's got a school of fish. Nostalgia gets everyone. It doesn't matter if your dad was a mechanic and now every time you get gas, gas, like when to get gas for your car, it automatically takes you back to when you're 5 years old in daddy's mechanic shop. It doesn't matter if your dad was a postal worker and he would flick rubber bands at you. Okay, well, guess what? Now every time you see a rubber band, it reminds you of that special moment you had with your dad when he took you to work. It doesn't matter if your dad was SpongeBob and a fry cook. Every time you go into a McDonald's and you smell the meat and you smell the cook of the burger and the oil of the fries, it takes you back to when you went to work the first time, your dad's work at McDonald's, and you had the best meal of your life. Nostalgia is a drug, and it makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do. It's like the Long Island iced tea. It puts you in a frame of mind where you'll spend a lot of money or you'll do something stupid. It's like love. It can be very closely connected to it. And this is just the beginning. You have, again, 15,000 active wallets every week. That's nothing. This is nothing. Moving on here. Oh God, where was I? I think they are 60% sold out of Brock McBlockchain's boners. I know that's a really weird word to say, but I can't find a screenshot of it. But that's what it was. Boogeyman says, yesterday had said, I don't own a RESO, but congrats to all the owners and people still buying RESO. Respect for all of you. Soon the only rich and wealthy people can buy a RISO, and I agree. And he had made this post when RISO was 1,400. A day later, he says, okay, I pulled the trigger and got myself a RISO when it was at 2,100. Why not? This is considered a grail, right? And then he posts a picture of him in a Feesh tank. It's a normal fish tank, but I like to think it's Feesh. 40 minutes. Okay, I'll get to the comments now. And then, ask me anything. I'll do a video tomorrow. Maybe a couple of videos on all of this. We got Matt Johnson saying, yo, Randy, my guy. Question. Do you think it's worth getting Red Hulk at this price? I have the other two Hulk. Oh, if you have the other two Hulks already, then definitely. But let me go and take a look. Let me go and see what the market's at. Yeah. Okay, Red Hulk. Oh my God, he's at $112. I didn't think he was that high. Wait, why is he that high? And Maestro's definitely not that high. Maestro Hulk. Oh, he's only less than 1,000 of him are present. Hey, there's nothing else I can say for. Well, listen, be advised, if you get the Red Hulk, you're gonna have to get the ultra rare too. And if you don't get him on the wait list, and it's probable that you're not gonna get him on the wait list, you're gonna probably have to spend another $100 on him, maybe even more. And again, I don't know who it's gonna be. Red Hulk's a popular character in Marvel Comics anyway. The other one, I don't know what it's gonna be, but be prepared to spend at least another $100 on the next one, if not $130 or $150. How much are you gonna spend for that airdrop? I know you have the other two, and again, he's good. How much is it going to dump after the airdrop? I don't know. I mean, he's still a first appearance. He's still a great character. He's still, the animation is great. The sound is great. I don't know what he does. But again, 112 for him. Let's say 130 for the next one. It's $242. It depends. Is that something that, it's fine, I got it? Or is it something that you're like, ooh, hey, gems are a little tight. Maybe I don't want to use it for that. It's really up to you. Smarty Pants says, let's go. I put in about 7,100 in 4chan and 19.5 in Grumpy Cat. When they moon, if they moon first, we'll definitely arbitrage into a ton of Omi. Let's go. Yo, let's go, Smarty Pants. I'm ready for that as well. Wes says, my body is ready. Let's get this bread. I love this game. Mr. McCab says, what's the update? Oh, okay. I didn't even talk about David. I spent 40 minutes talking and I didn't even talk about David. All right, so we'll talk about David real quick before I get to the rest of the comments. So David had posted 2 photos on his Instagram. One is of him with a cute little Pikachu shot glasses and Pikachu cat. Like, dude, look at how happy he is. Oh, I love him so much. So that's one photo. And then the other is of him next to a Mewtwo. And a lot of people have been saying, oh, hey, Pokemon confirmed. Okay, well, let's read the caption of what he wrote in there. The caption of what he wrote, I posted it over on the Twitter. Right? Yes, so the caption says, this is really fun. Here is very beautiful for all people, no matter what age, from old to baby, talking about Japan. He's in right now currently the largest licensing event in Tokyo. And this comes a couple months after he was they were in Asia for like a month. They're in Asia for like a month, they chill for a month. They go to a licensing event in Las Vegas, now they go to a licensing event in Tokyo. And again, why do you do this? Well, one, to get more licenses, which they're going to get. And then 2, because you have a competent enough team where they could run it without you, at least for a short amount of time. So I'm very, very happy they're doing this. Going and being out places for a month means that you trust the team. You trust Mitch. You trust Nestor. You trust Puddin' Cheese. You trust all of these people to basically run the company while you're in your absence and your leave. And I don't think people are really recognizing that. I don't think people say, like, a lot of CEOs, they don't have the trust. They're like, oh, no one can do my job like I can. And okay, fair point. But, if you don't do that, you never take a vacation. And I've seen this for 20 years. When I was working in animal hospitals, you had people like, oh, Dr. Blonder, oh, Dr. Fournier, Dr. Castle, take a vacation. We always see you here. It's like, okay, well, when I take a vacation, people are like, oh, where's Dr. Castle? Where's Dr. Fournier? Where's Dave Connie? And they go and they say, like, they can't take a vacation because they don't trust to train anyone. And then, the people refuse to go see anybody but them, so they can't take a vacation. The fact that, and obviously this is not a vacation, it's more of a working thing, but the fact that David and Dan trust their people to leave so often so that they can go and do what they need to do to grow the business. It's like, you don't get that very often. So the fact that they are is really, really bullish. And I don't think anyone's talked about that yet. I don't think anyone's ever touched on that. I need more whiskey soon. Depends how long we go for. I don't know. We'll see. So everyone's talking about, oh, this is Pokemon confirmed. Guys, I'm pretty sure David's just having fun. He's in general, for the 0.2% of women that watch me, because I know most of y'all are dudes, guys just don't grow up. You get older, you get bigger, you get maybe a little, but we don't grow up. We'll always find fart jokes funny. We'll always be asking you questions like, yo, Dashy, what would you rather do? Would you rather eat a 100-year-old egg, or would you rather be slapped in the face 500 times? Like, we talk about stupid stuff. In general, the things that, well, I'll say this, the things that scare you as a kid scare you as an adult. But that's the same with things that you liked as a kid. There's a couple of my friends' parents that go, what are they doing now that they have Netflix? What are they doing now that they have YouTube? When they didn't have that for years. They're watching like Three Stooges. They're watching like these old-timey movies. And it's like, guys, there's so much good entertainment out there. There's Breaking Bad, there's Walking Dead, there's Dexter, there's all of this amazing, amazing shows out there. Why are you watching reruns of Little Rascals and Three Stooges? It's like, because I love it, because I grew up with it. And it's like, all right, I still watch Pokemon. I still watch, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island every year. I still watch, Recess, that movie every year. I still watch, so I get it. David, in that same breath, is going and saying, like, hey, Pokemon I've collected for as long as it's been out, for all of my adult life. When you're in Pokemon City, when you're in Japan or in Tokyo, you're going to take pictures with it. I don't believe this is David saying that we have Pokemon. And I know, I get it, it's like, Chavez, why would you crush my dreams like that? I'm not. I'm just trying to reel in expectations here. But again, I don't know. I do want to have lowered expectations. I do want to go and have, because, if we're saying like, yo, this means we totally have Pokemon. If you go and say that, then you're disappointed if we don't get it. But if we say, hey, we have to reel in the expectations, we probably don't have it. This is probably just David saying, showing his admiration for one of the biggest collectible things in the world. And then if we do get it, it's like, oh, we look like Post Malone when that girl's showing him her chest. He's like, I don't know if anyone's seen that meme. It's a great meme. So a lot of people were asking me about that. So that's kind of the update on the. Oh, I guess updates on Omi. We'll go into Omi real quick. New whale of mine has gotten 20 million Omi. Omi's at 0006349, so almost 0006335. He's got 20 million Omi now. I'll have him get more next week. He'll get an average of, he's gotten an average of like 2 million a week. Yeah, he's got an average of 2 million a week. I'll sustain that. I'll have him get more than that next week. As long as I keep saving him money, as long as I keep making him money, he'll do that. So you better hope Chavez, pray for me. Guy here, Smarty Pants says, also excited to see my vault value over 300K now. Can't wait for the bull run values. Smarty Pants is gonna have like 3 million in vault value. What's the Smarty Pants? You're a legend. Mr. McCab says bull run. Yeah, I mean, kind of gearing up towards that right now. You know, Bitcoin went down like $1,000 in a minute earlier today when the SEC is like, oh, we're not approving this Bitcoin ETF because of X, Y, and Z. And then when people realize, oh, wait, you told them why they're not getting approved, that means they know what to fix in order to get approved. And then people saw it as bullish. Did a nice little V-shaped recovery there. Smarty Pants says, at West, hi there, fellow legend. NFT Hero says, have you noticed all the people who left are now coming back? The ones who claimed that they were collectors, people will remember the real ones. Yes, I have noticed that one or two people have said like, oh, hey, I've gotten VV now because, you know, it's like, yeah, people can see through that. People can go and tell, you were gone for a while, or you were fudding for quite a while, and now you're trying to act like you're, you know, a buddy again. Now, don't get me wrong. I really like it when other people come in and they sing VV's praises. That's paramount for growth. But yeah, I know I shouldn't be like this. You know, Einstein said that men can accomplish great things if they don't care who gets the credit. As long as VV rises, as long as Omi rises, I don't care if people unsubscribe and be like, Randy's not entertaining. You know, they go on to everyone else. As long as VV and Omi rise, I don't care. I mean, I'll be making money hand over fist. It doesn't matter. But selfishly, yeah, it'd be nice to be like recognized, to eventually have. I mean, I like it when people come up to me at DCon or wherever, you know, DesignerCon or New York City. Oh my God, Randy. And it's like, oh, I love you. Thank you for being, you know, that's fun. That's nice. I mean, I don't do it for that, but I do it to just help inform people. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice hearing that. It's nice having that, you know, human connection. It's like, oh, my work is appreciated. Somebody asked me before, it's like, Randy, why don't VV go and pay for your ticket to all these places? And it's like, well, listen, VV does not have their ambassador program rolled out yet. You know, a lot of the haters already say, oh, influencers get all this special treatment. I don't think VV wants to lean into that and give them more ammo. And also, it's kind of like, well, if you do it for one, you have to do it for everyone. You know, if they did it for Randy Chavez, they have to do it for Taps Rays. They have to do it for, you know, Wendy Lopez. They have to do it for, you know, Dan Lee. They have to do it for everyone. And you don't really want to do that. You don't want to single people out, and you don't want to, you know, wait till the ambassador program comes out. And if I'm lucky enough, you know, maybe I could be part of it. If they think I'm doing a good enough job, if they think I'm I'm clean enough, and they're like, okay, we don't mind you representing us, then, you know, then they could do something like that, and the perks like that would be cool. That being said, are they telling me to stop when I'm getting all these whales in? No, they're not. So they, you know, I feel like they'll do a little reward here and there from moi. Ian Cromwell says, let's go. I'm going to get a little more whiskey. Should I take you guys with me to get a little more whiskey? Should I take you guys? I don't know. We'll see. What do we got here? We're at 94% on this. Oh yeah, let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna put this on my phone, and we're gonna get some more whiskey. I'm good, yeah, feeling alright. Okay, we're gonna try to be quiet because everyone's sleeping. Okay. Can you all hear me? Is this like an ASMR video? Do you hear the glass clank upon the counter? Do you hear the Do you hear the wistful pour of the running of the whiskey? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, how's that sound? I know it sounds like I'm doing something I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, there we go. We're going to go back into the room now with this next glass of whiskey, and we're going to continue our journey of friendship and magic. Okay, here we go. Let's go back. back to the beginning. I've been on such a Hillary Duff kick lately, and I don't know why. Maybe that's what I'll do this evening. Maybe I will watch the Lizzie McGuire movie. That is such a good movie. Moving on here. Matt Johnson says, I love this game. Hey, Jomi, what's going on? The incorrigible Goat Slayer says, you ain't lying, NFT hero. Prince Toby says, 2 streams a night? Unbelievable. This is why you're my favorite YouTuber. Aww. Yep, I had 1 this morning and 2 tonight. So this is... I don't believe I've ever done 3 in one day. This is a first. But there's just been so much news. There's been so much to talk about. Again, like, I had to stop myself because I was talking for 40 minutes. And that's the good thing about Vivi. There's so much news to talk about every single day. I could do 2 streams a night or 2 streams a day forever. That's what I used to do. It's already almost an hour. Matt Johnson says, yeah, at Prince Toby, Randy is legit. Oh, thanks, guys. Y'all are my bays. Y'all are my favorites. Moving on here. Matt Johnson says, cheers, brother. Oh, cheers, mate. Cheers. Don Sparkle says, yo, Pikachu. David said that the New Zealand stamps were his pride and joy. That was something that he was most proud of, because that was his first thing that he ever collected. That's what broke his collecting cherry. But I think Pokemon would be mine. Like, there's maybe not a ton of reasons why I would break down and cry emotionally, but if I were to, if I had this company, if I was CEO of Vivi, and I got Pokemon, I'll tell you, I would have gotten it done, or I would have moved mountains trying. I would have done whatever it takes. And I'm sure David and Dan are doing the exact same thing to try to get the license. And I'll tell you this, like, because I know this game, because I know Pokemon, because I know the company, I know Japanese culture, I know the people. I'll say that another time. And because David's enthralled in that culture, because David's super successful, he's not, me. Like, again, if I were to go and be part of that culture and try to pitch it, I would have to cut my hair, I would have to shave, I would have to do, whatever. David already has that look. He already has the perfect hairline. He's already like the perfect man. But he speaks the language as well. He's one of them. And I'll tell you this. Pokemon and Nintendo will either choose Vivi or they'll go it alone. They are not going to go with any other company. I know them. I swear I know them. That's what's going to happen. If you don't see them go with Vivi, they will not go with any other company. They'll do it themselves. And they'll do it in 3 years' time, however long it takes. It would behoove them to use Vivi, even if it's just at first, even if they have this backseated plan, like, oh, we'll use Vivi to see what works and what doesn't work, and we'll simultaneously work on our own in parallel. But that's most likely the course of action. When it happens, if it happens, I don't know. But again, I just know the company. Prince Toby says, Pika Pika, shoot. There was this TikTok the other day, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. There was zero reason for me to watch this TikTok. The caption, on the text read like, oh, when you forget what comes after O in the alphabet. And then it's a picture of a giant Dynamax Pikachu. It's like, oh, I wonder what it's going to say. And then it comes out, it's like, P. What comes after O in the alphabet? P. And like, I knew it was going to happen. And I wasted 8 minutes of my life. Or 8 seconds of my life waiting for it to go P. Because, And one says, I know zero about Pokemon. Is the hype really that solid? Like, what can people like me expect if Pokemon comes to Vivi? In relation to Omi, specifically because I'm into Omi way more. Okay. All right. Well, Pokemon came at the perfect time. Because you didn't really have the internet yet. You maybe had Google. Maybe had AskJeeves.com. Maybe you had like Yahoo games. Maybe you had pinball on your computer, if you had a computer at all. Not everyone had a computer. Not everyone had it. If you had internet, you had dial-up. It was the last couple of years before that digital age. People still had tapes on VHS. They didn't have DVDs yet. There was no YouTube. There was no MySpace. There was no Friendster. There was no Buddy Train. A decent amount of people on the coast had email. There was games, but it was the last time where kids could, didn't have iPads, where they didn't have iPhones, they didn't have, they had a Game Boy, which Pokemon used. It was the last period of time where, what do you do on a rainy day? Watch Pokemon. Play video games where you had Pokemon Stadium. You had Hey You Pikachu. You had Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. And this was just all in Generation 1. This was not including Generation 2, where you had Pokemon Stadium 2, you had Pokemon Channel, you had the GameCube, Pokemon Stadium 2, you had Gold and Silver and Crystal, you had Pokemon Puzzle League, which happened in the first gen, and then every new generation, you had more and more games, you had more and more additions, you had more and more Pokemon, you had more characters. And it was the last time before you had computers, so what did people do? They watched the same movies over and over, they watched the same shows over and over, and they went into this opening that no one had ever heard before. I don't think there is a more, maybe like Friends, like I'll be there for you. That one's good. Maybe CSI Las Vegas. Who are you? Like when you have the Who. That's pretty epic, but a lot of younger people won't get that. I don't think there's any other opening in the history of television that maybe MASH, where you had 100 million people that watched that show. But Pokemon, when you hear damn, I wanna be. My friend Lou, who is the lead guitarist at the Warped Tour tribute band, and he does vocals as well, but lead guitarist at Warped Tour tribute band. I told him to do the Pokemon song, like as they're opening, when the curtain's rising. And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if people are going to resonate with that. I don't really know Pokemon. I was like, bro, you don't understand. And he didn't. And for one night, for one show, it was at Mulcahy's at Long Island, he did it. Damn. And they played it. And the whole crowd went nuts. Everyone was like, ugh. And pushing each other or punching each other. I was like, yes, ramming into each other. Again, this is what 2000s, 90s, 2000s kids, emos, like, and if you don't take the hype of that is just nerds. The 1% in the world, that make the most, a lot of time there's the 1% in school as well. You have the popular kids, you have the good looking jocks, that's not the nerds. Most people that make up school are nerds, and or maybe they're not nerds. There's different cliques wherever, but they're not that the super popular clique. They're not the quarterback. They're not the cheerleader. Most of them are normal, and you have good. Pokemon is kind of unisex. You have Ash and Misty and Brock, and you have these Pokemon that at the beginning they didn't really have genders. You had Nidoking and Nidoqueen, and then you had the Voltorb and Electrode that were genderless. But for the most part, you didn't really have genders until Generation 2, where you could breed your Pokemon. And that's the other thing. Breeding. What? You had gambling in the first few generations as well. You get exposed to slot machines. You get exposed to all these different things. It is, and again, it was the perfect storm at just the right time of the music and the feels that it gave you. And it's a whole new way to see the world. And I know this is going to be a long-winded response, but this is what I live. Like, this is how I made the bulk of my money. This is how I went and, super special to me. So, and one, when you say I know zero about Pokemon, people are going to lose their minds. If we get Pokemon, you're going to see the biggest gem squeeze that you've ever seen. you're going to go and see like, oh God, for a Pikachu, there's so many different ways that they can do it. People are going to go nuts for it. The first appearance of any Pokemon in the blockchain. There are people in the Pokemon community that hate NFTs. They don't care about NFTs. They don't like NFTs. They don't know what it is. They will buy these Pokemon NFTs. I know because I talk to them all the time. Uncle Jeremy, you think he's not going to go ham on this drop? I know. Why? Because he's about to spend $15,000 on 2 cards. I repeat, Uncle Jeremy, Jeremy Padua, CEO of Jazzwares, 4th largest toy company in the world, CEO of Squishmallows, got acquired by Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company, last year. He is about to spend $15,000 on 2 Pokemon cards. I'm helping him do it. And, you know, he's a 50-year-old man. Pokemon is timeless. What if this gets on the app? It's going to change everything. And I get it. It's like, well, we have Marvel, we have Disney, we have Universal, we have Ghostbusters, we have all this. Doesn't matter. Pokemon is the Niantic just laid off 25% of its staff, and they said to Marvel, hey Marvel, we're not going to develop your game. You, Marvel, are not as important as Pokemon. Your game is being shelved. No one's going to work on your game. Pokemon's our top priority. Pokemon Go, Harry Potter Wizards Unite was supposed to be Pokemon Go 2.0. Supposed to be the next Pokemon Go. Because it's a huge franchise. It didn't work. Pokemon did. Harry Potter Wizards Unite did not. And that's a huge franchise, which I love, which I played, which I put money into. Didn't work. Pokemon is the Vivi will be successful without it, but the dream world for Pokemon fans is for Pokemon to be on Vivi because of how simple it'll be. Pokemon and Nintendo can try to do it on their own and they'll make money, but it's not going to be as good. Like, it's not, they don't know the space. If Pokemon ever gets on Vivi, that is the, I mean, I've already said before, Vivi's won the decade, and they have. If Pokemon gets Vivi, or if Vivi gets Pokemon, they will, I mean, already they could buy other platforms if they wanted to, but if they get Pokemon, I don't even know the consequences of that. It is too insurmountable of numbers to run. You'll see a big gem squeeze. There'll be more gems bought than ever before. People like me would sell only for Pokemon. Not because it's the most prudent financial thing to do. They'll do it because of the love of the game. They'll do it because of the love. And now maybe I'm a little biased because I didn't have the best childhood. I didn't have Pokemon was my escape. And I feel like there's a decent amount of kids that maybe didn't have the worst childhoods, but they thought they did. And they're like, oh, Pokemon's my escape. The same reason why people get fat. Food doesn't reject them. Food doesn't tell them they're a piece of shit. Food doesn't tell them that you're nothing and that you're a waste of life. Neither does Pokemon. You love your Pokemon. Pokemon love you. Again, when you had the Pikachu smile at you, you literally had happiness meters in the 2nd generation that showed, oh, your Pokemon seems to trust you. Pokemon really trusts you. Your Pokemon must love you a lot. The feeling that you get when you go to that lady in Goldenrod City and she said, wow, your Pokemon looks really happy. It must love you a lot. To know that you're doing good as a trainer, to know that you're being the best Pokemon master, to know that you're raising Pokemon in this crazy world and you're doing a good job at it, so good that they love you. If you don't get love in other places, again, I'm telling you right now, I'm broken. I did not get love for a very, very long time. And that is going to stay with me forever. That's what made me successful. That's what made me spend $80,000 on one Pokemon card. And then I flipped it for $270,000. the amount of money that's being spent on Pokemon, the amount of money that, like, consistently, on June 28th, PSA had graded 50,000 cards. Large percent of that was Pokemon. That wasn't for the year. That wasn't for the month. That was for one day. That PSA had graded 50,000 cards, and they are months behind. It's not like a 2-week thing. You send it there, they grade it. No, it's months. And it used to be worse. Before this new CEO, in January, you could send in a Pokemon card, just one. You wouldn't get it back until December of that year. You could meet a lady, get married, and have a kid before that card came back. They streamlined this now. It's a lot better. But yeah, this is the market for collectibles in general. I have something in my eye. The market for collectibles in general, an eye patch, is this is stupid. The amount that people are spending right now will be writ small within the next 6 months. Not including the next year, the next 2 years. And if you get Pokemon on here, oh my God, Jesus, tap dancing Christ, you're gonna get so much money. Hundreds of millions of dollars are gonna pour into this. VV is already worth a couple $1 billion. They'll be worth 10 billion and 50 billion. Omi to the freaking moon. Guys, I'm not, you don't, wind the clocks back to 2019. It's the first time I've ever had $100,000 in my bank account. And a good amount of that money I'm spending on Pokemon. When 2020 hit and Rona happened, and it looked like lending money to business owners was going to be a thing of the past because the government wasn't letting a lot of these people go to business and work, I decided, okay, I'm going to give up what made me $100,000 and I'm going to focus solely on Pokemon. That wasn't just for love of Pokemon. It was because I knew what people were spending on it. I knew all the money that was going to go into it. I was right. Even without Pokemon, there's so much money that's going to be spent on this. There are so few of these things out there. This is, Jesus, and this is before gamification. You have, there's going to be a lot of announcements coming in the next 6 months. Nobody's ready for. It's going to be great. So to answer your question, after like 20 minutes and one, I know you say I just want to make money. What's wrong with that? Omi's probably your best bet and one. But you know, there's no way to really know what goes up first. But Riso's gone up 50% in 2 days. Secret Rare Spider-Man 50%. The partner statue 50%. There's so much things that's gone up so much. You know, to go, if you're manager of a hedge fund and you go up 3% in 1 week, you're popping champagne, you're celebrating. Like, that's nothing to us. And a lot of these hedgies don't understand this yet. They're like, oh, it's too high risk because they're not looking into it, and they will. And this is gonna pop off like Vesuvius. It's gonna be crazy. Prince Toby says basically Pokemon is PETA's worst nightmare. We trap animals in little red and white balls and make them battle, and that's why Pokemon is hyped up. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why. One, they're cute. They're cute AF. Whether it's an Oddish, it's a Cubone. You could even have a Kangaskhan, which is a giant, roided out kangaroo-looking thing with a little baby Joey, a baby Kangaskhan in it, and it's cool. It's the best of both worlds. If I can quote Miley Cyrus, it's the best of both worlds. Move it out, take it slow, and then you rock out the show. Oh, that's such a good song. It is. You have the sap. It is beautiful yet barbaric. You have the cute Pikachu and the baby Pokemon like Happiny and Magby and Pikachu and Elekid. You have all the and Smoochum. You have the baby Pokemon and Tyrogue as well. And then you have like the savageness of, a Nidoking, which goes, it can know Ice Beam, it can know Thunderbolt, it can know Earthquake, it can know Dig, and it's just a physical monster. You have Gyarados, that's a legit dragon. dragon scales. You can't hurt that thing. You have Dragonite, which is another actual dragon. You know, Hyper Beam is just a beast of a thing. You, you have the best of both worlds. You have girls, you have guys, you have everyone. Um, so yeah, yeah, and you get to fight, you get to train, you get to battle, you get to use potions, you get to you're the master of these super powerful things. You get to go and save Mr. Fuji. You get to battle Team Rocket. You get to go and make a lot of money. You get to go beat people up and their Pokemon and take their money. You get to go and be this a hero, and it's coded in a way that it tells you that you're the best, and it tells you that you're special, and not a lot of other games did that. Like Battletoads didn't tell you were special. You know, if you're playing Super Mario, you're Mario. You're not yourself. But in Pokemon, you get to name yourself. Oh, I'm Randy. Oh, I'm Chavez. Oh, I'm that. Like in Super Mario, you're just Mario. You're somebody else. If you're in Halo, you're Master Chief. But in this, you get to name yourself. You get to do some really cool things, and it's a little bit of luck as well. You need to find a certain amount of Pokemon. You need to, but whatever it is, whatever Pokemon you have, you can beat the game. And they even have that in there where Karen says like, strong Pokemon, weak Pokemon. That is the selfish perception of people. Truly skilled trainers should try to win with their favorites. I like your style. You understand what's important. Go on. The champion is waiting. There's some good dialogue in this. You know, you get to save Ampharos at the at Olivine Tower in Olivine City. You have to go to Cheyenne Wood. You have to get this medicine. You have to bring it back, and you're the reason that Pokemon. You saved a life. There's not at the time there wasn't a lot of other games that did that. This yeah. I feel like I'm talking way too much about Pokemon, but it's one of the biggest things that Vivi could get. Arturo, Manifesting Vibes, has just finished the last video you posted on time to be here for the stream. Hey, Arturo. Jay Solo says, what's up with 4chan, Randy? Well, let's take a look at the 4chan. Let's take a look at what they're up to. And take a look at both 4chan and Grumpy Cat. So Grumpy Cat is at 2.95 million, about a half a million in volume in the last 24 hours. Let's take a look at the 4chan. 4chan's at 6.1 million. It was actually down to 4 million the other day, so it's got 2 million in volume, 6 million at market cap. It'll get there. It'll continue to go up. It just needs a little bit more oomph. Oh god, hiccups. Oh. Vivi Magic says hey. She says hi. Hi. Ooh. Ooh. Sorry, I had a message to react to. Smarty Pan says, and one Pokemon is just one of those fandoms that would be on Break the App. Marvel and Disney was our king IP. Pokemon would be God. Yeah, fair point. Matt Murphy says, let's go. I just saw Vivi respond earlier to someone about people at DCOM getting logos or logo letters. I just didn't hear about this. Can you explain? Yeah. At the DCOM kickoff party in May of 2022, if you had gone and if you had left your... Bless me. If you had gone to the DCOM kickoff party in May of 2022 and you sent your email there for a ticket, for a reservation, you will get a Vivi white and blue logo airdropped to you, which is cool. You can do that. And yeah, if you want to do that, you can do that and it'll be great. So that's what that is. They'll just get that. Lester Suarez says, love you, bro. Randy 2023. Oh, thank you, Lester Suarez. I love you guys too. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. Let's get this spread and see what else we got here. Meow Meow Maniac says, Randy should run for mayor of his town and live stream. If and when he gives his speech after he wins, he should wear a giant cat costume while delivering it, make headlines, which will grow his channel. I don't know about that. I'm going to take a picture of that, though. I had dabbled in... I was actually talking to Prince Toby about this the other day. I used to want to go and run for Congress. I would run as Republican. One, because even though I am very middle of the road, and I like a lot of middle of the road Democrat ideas, I just happen to I like guns, I like the military, I like small limited government. I don't believe in a ton of handouts. I don't believe we should be giving other countries, especially countries that burn our flag, I don't believe we should be giving them a lot of money, if any at all. But at the same time, if I'm a Democrat and running, sure, I'll get the Democrat vote because I'm brown and I'm an immigrant. But a Republican that's brown? A Republican that's Dems ain't attacking me. Dems ain't going, they say oh, you're a white, cis, privileged white male. They're not saying that to me. Okay, sure, I'm cis, I'm straight. But they're not telling me that I'm privileged. I was born in a house with no roof. I was born in a little area with a couple walls and no roof. They're not saying that to me. You got the military experience, I love animals, I have the work experience. I could run, and I probably could win. I wanted to originally take Peter King's seat when I was in Nassau after I moved back. I'm in Suffolk now. I don't know where I'd go, but be advised, 500-ish people, a lot of them are just there for, be advised, if you go to Congress, once you leave Congress, you still get a paycheck every year for the rest of your life. I don't believe that should be the thing. It should be seen as an honor. It should be seen as a duty to do this, and I just don't believe in that. But if you go and if you say okay, well, what would you do? There's some characters that are running for Congress. There's some characters, and I want to be around some people that are a little bit, oh God, this is going to sound so bad. I want to be around some people that are a little bit smarter. Like some of Congress believes in science, but it's like a circus, and I just don't want to do that. Maybe VV City be mayor of that. Lester Suarez says, I'm coming over, bro. Yo, Lester Suarez, drink up. Wes says, the problem is drops need to go into collectors' hands, not flippers. Well, that's what MCP is about, and OUP as well. Yes, right now, everyone has an equal chance of getting a collectible. But when MCP rolls out, oh, hey, you can use your MCP points to get more tickets. When OUP rolls out, hey, you can use your OMI to get more MCP points. Or you could use it to get more of these, bronze tickets, whatever, to get more tickets to the wait list. Cool, that's great. It will go into more collectors' hands, but collectors will have a big advantage. But until both of these things roll out in the next couple months. Turtle says, how about that Golden Dragon utility? Maybe the winners of the liquid gold will get a surprise bonus. Oh, so I did talk about that early this morning, but I will talk about that again, Turtle. Where am I? It was yesterday, right? Yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. Squidcat says, winners of this month's Golden Dragon Club Liquid Gold June giveaway are VV users VVified and Danima8. Congrats. I will contact via email. Special thanks to Turtle Golf and award-winning brewery Treehouse Brewery, the Treehouse Brewing Company. And that's what you get. They do a lot of these things. And if you want to know what to do and how to get that, contact Squidcat. He says Gold Dragon staking for August and club membership. Send your edition number to Golden Dragon Lucky Lotto at gmail.com. Just message Squidcat over on Twitter. We'll say you'll receive a code, put in your public VV bio to get verified for staking. List your dragon at $88,000 in marketplace and keep it there for OMI giveaways. Details via email. So yes, you do have a good reason to stake that Golden Dragon. Multiple reasons. There's vacations, there's other stuff as well. Darth Chaos says, hello there. Oh, General Darth Chaos. Matt Johnson says, people want to cry about everything. It's ridiculous. The waitlist is so much better. I get it's frustrating when you don't get chosen, but it's definitely more fair for everyone. Agreed. You had, I think on the most recent drop, you had less than 1.8% of suspected bot accounts get the drop. That means over 98% of collectors, real collectors, got the drop. Very, very excited about that. Hold on. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Smarty Pants says, be the store you say. Plutos. Come get your Plutos. Come and get your love. Come and get your Plutos from Smarty Pants. News Now Marijuana says, Randy, corner of the market, Chavez. What's up? Yeah, what up? News Now Marijuana says, cough. Loki Gator, cough. Loki Gator. Ooh, Lester Suarez says, I love the real Randy Chavez. No homo. Of course. No homo at all. Wes says, I bought like Secret Rare for Luke Secret Rare for 510 gems. Yo, get that bread. Good for you. Cold T says, do you think at some point Vivi will disclose how many collectibles have been seized from bot accounts? Well, they have already. David said between 900 and a million accounts have been frozen, all of which have at least one collectible in it. So there's going to be a couple that have multiple collectibles in it. Does the burn them update the edition numbers? They will do that at some point as well for the burn. Smarty Pants says, I had a PSA 10 first edition base set Charmander signed by Arya. Sold it way back for $10,000. No freaking way. Still miss my multi-million-dollar Pokemon collection. Yeah, that's... Did you really sell it for $10,000? That's a lot of money. I mean, I get it. I think I sold that for like $2K. First edition PSA 10. I didn't have a signature though, but that makes sense. Wes says, Crypto Cosmos says, let's go. I love this channel. Oh, dude, listen, the new whale I've been talking to that has 20 million Omi now has said, yo, Chavez, what are you going to do when Omi blows up? You're going to still have YouTube? And I was like, well, yeah, of course. It's still going to be fun. Like, if I'm going to be making videos through the bear market, you can be damn sure and be soaking up the good stuff, soaking up those rays in the bull market. I might not spend 8 hours a day trying to message people back, but I'll still make videos. I'll still I'll still go to events. I'll probably go to even more events and set up more events of my own. Do that type of thing. Art Churro says, ha ha ha, the men maturity part, so real. At least we doing what makes us happy. I hadn't opened Pokemon packs in 10 plus years. I bought myself 2 Japanese packs of the new 151 set based off the OG 151 Pocket Monsters, and it was so nostalgic for me. Yeah. I think on Sunday, I'll be going live with my friend Brandon, who has a Whatnot partnership. So we'll go and do a Whatnot thing on opening some packs. It was always really fun. I remember my first Pokemon card pack. I had a Charmeleon in it. And I was like, whoa, Charmeleon. It wasn't first edition. I remember I had a Rattata. I thought it was really cool. It was like, oh, it's small, but it's very quick. I was like, oh, can't hit Rattata. I thought it's small and quick. I was like, I love Rattata. I love Charmeleon. I think the rare in that was a trainer because it wasn't a holo. I didn't get a holo in the first pack. I was hooked. It was, yeah, the Pokemon is probably the most special thing to me, outside of Dashi. Yeah. Matt Johnson says, Randy, realistically, how high do you think Omi can actually go long term? Definitely long term hold. That was hilarious, your journey to get more whiskey. Okay, so long term. So I'm going to say 2 bull markets from now, because the next bull market is just a year and a half, 2 years away. So if we're going to do long term, like 2029, I think by that point, Bitcoin and Ethereum both have a $10 trillion market cap easily, quite possibly more than that. If Bitcoin gets to $1 million a coin, that's a $20 trillion market cap. So this is only assuming that Bitcoin goes to a $500,000 market cap. That'd be a $500,000 Bitcoin. That's $10 trillion. That's about what gold is right now. Bitcoin is much more valuable than gold. So if we're conservative and we say that Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I expect Ethereum to flip Bitcoin at some point in the future, conservatively, they'd be at a $10 trillion market cap each. Okay. Well, that's 2 of the top 10. Well, what happens to USDC? What happens to USDT? What happens to new blockchains that are, let's say, layer 3, or even like new ones that have much less gas fees? Okay, well, you could disrupt a lot of these. You could disrupt Cardano and Binance Coin, whatever. But let's say all of the top 10 by 2029 have $1 trillion market cap. And let's say OMI's not in that. Let's say OMI does not have that. Let's say OMI's, let's say, in top 20, and they have a couple $100 billion market cap. If OMI is 1/10, no, 1/10 would be $1 trillion. If OMI is 2%, 2.5% of what Ethereum is, Ethereum and both Bitcoin would have a $10 trillion market cap, which is very conservative for 2029. Okay, well, 10% of that is $1 trillion, and 1% of that is $100 billion. So if OMI has 2.5% of the worth of Ethereum, and Ethereum is over $9 trillion above OMI, well, if we just have 60 billion OMI burn, that's $1. It's $1. If we have 5%, if we are 95% cheaper than Ethereum as far as market cap goes, and we're at a $500 billion market cap, and we have 250 billion in OMI circulating supply, that's a $2 OMI. I'm going to say OMI's minimum of $1 by 2029. And again, this is just speculation, but I think this is fairly conservative. Like, well, you expect OMI to be $250 billion. What would VV be worth then? A couple $100 billion by themselves. Again, they're worth a couple billion right now in a bear market when nobody knows what's going on. And again, you have Cryptoys, which took $20 million in a funding round that Andreessen Horowitz had participated in. And clearly I've stated that they don't know what they're doing. Not Cryptoys, Andreessen Horowitz, but, Cryptoys, who knows? When you take a look at that, and the smart money eventually rolls to VV, which it will, you say, oh, okay, this is not a hard call. I think minimum $1 by 2029, but you could see $2. You really could. That's what I think. Again, this is my version of long term. Dirk Latte says, how do people swap collectibles if they want to do a deal? Right now you can't, because legally they are considered alternative assets. If you are somebody, let's say like Silicone Secure. Silicone just put out a tweet a few hours ago saying that, hey guys, and this is from Silicone, saying, guys, I have stage 4 kidney cancer, and I'm fighting, and I promise I'm fighting my best, and he's in good spirits. He thinks he'll beat it. So I hope that's the case. But if he wants to go and transfer his collectibles to his kids or to VV Magic or whoever, he has to put that in his will. VV cannot do it for him. Because again, these are assets. The government will view these as something that's taxable or non-taxable, depending on what happens. So you can't transfer right now, and I don't think you'll be able to transfer this. You could do like offers in the future, like, oh, I'm gonna put this up for 10 grand, but you make me an offer $100, I'll take it. You could do something like that. But there's no swapping collectibles right now. Bisco says the internet ruined everything. Well, no, the internet was necessary if we wanted to, get to a type 1 type civilization. A type 1 civilization is something that has like a universal telephone system, which is, internet. Type 1 civilization will have, control of the weather of their planet. Well, we can influence the weather with HARP. The type 1 civilization will have a universal fashion trend. Well, we do have Fashion Week. We do have all these other things. The internet is necessary for us to get to a type 1 civilization. Were things awesome back in the 90s? Sure, we had some good stuff. But I think things are better now. Things are definitely better now, in my opinion. Rapunga says, I opened 2 support tickets yesterday with Vivi. They were both answered within 12 hours. I'm pretty impressed. I'm impressed too. Good for you guys. Arturo says, at Beska, without the internet, we wouldn't be here. It's a good point. Without the internet, this wouldn't exist. Vasco says, Arturo, your point? Well, your point is like, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't, well, I might not be as happy. Well, it's a double-edged sword, because if I were to move to a small town, I might be, and I did phone sales or whatever, I might be considered a decent person to marry. I might be considered a decent person to have a partner. Now it's okay, well, women can go on any dating app and have 500 matches within an hour. And, they have options. And that kind of limits the dating pool. Because women can go 2 towns over, 3 towns over, 50-mile radius, and they'll have guys drive to them. Without the internet, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, do I want to do that? And, you have something like that. Not that I'm looking for a relationship. I am not. It's the last thing on my mind. But the internet makes it so that you're able to talk to people and you're able to have deeper conversations. Like, you could be in a hick town. You could be in this town that has not a lot of redeeming qualities, and the town could be crap. It could be saying, hey, a lot of us here are low IQ, and it's hard to find someone. Like, in general, I think it's hard to find someone you can have a good conversation with, or friends. Like, I have decent conversations with people all the time just because that's what I do. But if you're in a town where you know everyone and everyone knows everyone, it's like, okay, well, what's new? It's hard. So I do feel bad for some people that don't have TikTok, and they're not seeing what everyone else is seeing. It's like they're falling behind. It's like, hey, you're in 2008. You're so 2000 and late. And it's like they're in the past. And that's kind of people that's, older, or people that are just, some people in middle America have dial-up internet. They don't have Wi-Fi. They don't have, it's like, man, and it's really wild, because you need that. You need middle America. You need farmers. You need people that are feeding us. There's like a super small strata of people that are going and feeding the entire world. And it's like, well, God bless them, man. You don't want them to get that technologically advanced, because if they do, it's like, oh, why do I need to farm? I can do this. And then you have less and less farmers, and then suddenly, oh, shoot, this is not a good time, You need that. It's a very interesting world. It's different worlds. New York is completely different from Kuwait, completely different from Florida, completely different from Vegas, which is completely different from London, completely different from Ireland. All these places that I've seen firsthand, they're separate, and they're not equal. They're not. But you need all of these countries and populaces of people at different levels, because if they're all at the same level, who's going to answer the phones? Who's going to do the farming? Who's going to do the jobs that you don't want? Like, you need that. And I don't know what happens with AI when suddenly maybe you could export something to these countries, but now you don't, because you can use ChatGPT to do a touch tone telephone or text system, whatever. Yeah, that's really hard. You have a lot of deep fakes, and they'll be able to be more efficient than humans that can't speak the language. Like, there's some people that do marketing, and they have these people from the Philippines or from India or Indonesia or wherever, and they can't speak the language. It's much better to go and say, like, hey, put ChatGPT in here, and then go and have them do it, and they could identify a problem like that. I mean, you had this company Lemonade, which I invested in 5 years ago, and what did they do? They use artificial intelligence to determine insurance claims. They had the fastest insurance claim. I think they did an insurance claim in like 3 seconds. And that's just the beginning, man. This is a very strange world. And I'm not sure how it's going to be in 10 years. A lot of things will be great, but some things might not be, It's going to be interesting. Curious to see what happens. Crypto Cosmo says, my 13-year-old son's listening in. He says, if Pokemon comes to Vivi, I'm going to spam Vivi. Oh, Crypto Cosmo, tell your son he's awesome and that we should all hang out and play Pokemon Go one day. Doko Dude says, could you imagine if the breeding or evolving process of Pokemon on Vivi? Oh, no, I could not. I could not. That would be awesome, but I could not. Wes says, is Pokemon even that popular anymore? Again, Niantic, that laid off 25% of their employees, had told Marvel to F off. And they said, hey, Marvel, Pokemon Go is more important than you. We're not going to work on your game anymore. We're only going to focus our attentions on Pokemon. The new Pokemon 151, the new set, was like the most coveted and the most speculative set that they've had in a long time. Now they changed the pull rates and a lot of people are pulling their cards earlier, so it's not going to do as well as some of the previous sets. But Pokemon is forever. Pokemon is super popular. It's always, again, like Rule 34, the most searched the most searched porn fandom is Pokemon. So it goes from kids to adults to the weird. It's Pokemon is love. Pokemon is life. Arturo says, Randy describing Pokemon makes it so much more valid why Pokemon is the #1 highest grossing media franchise. Oh, thanks, guys. And Up to Hero says, with Pokemon, it won't cause a gem squeeze. It would bring in some many users. It would be insane. Well, it would be a bunch of users, yeah. New users would be buying all the current items as well. Oh, that's a good point. They might. I think there'd be a lot of cross-trading. I'm going to take a picture of this. Picture. There we go. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of cross-trading where people are going to go and try to sell their stuff, and then other new users are going to buy it, so it just goes from one to the other. And then, yes, there's going to be a lot of... You might see a short-term dip, but then, yeah, when Pokemon people get in, they buy the Pokemon. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? They'll buy other stuff, too. BSK says, do people still play Pokemon Go? I literally had someone come into the gym today that I was working out. I was doing some back, and it's like, hey, do you play Pokemon Go? Because I was wearing an Arcanine shirt. Arcanine. A Cinnabar Island gym shirt. Like, do you play Pokemon Go? And I was like, oh, I played for a good time back in the day. I'm at like level 23, 24. And the kid's like, yo, I just reached level 30. I'm like, awesome. I was like, oh, do you go to the events in New York City? He's like, yeah, I think there's one coming this like... he's a cool kid. I should introduce myself. I was like in the workout and I was pumped. I was like, so I might have looked like a crackhead. I don't know. Yeah, it was interesting. It was good. It was, but people still definitely play Pokemon Go, like enough where that's their main priority. Wes is not really. Oh no, people do. Jordan Riz says, Randy, yo, what up, Jordan? How's it going, fam? Sorry, I'm getting back to y'all late. It's been a heck of a time. Jeremy Batter is awesome. I love him. Moving on here. BSK says that was really big for the first summer. I'm going to tell this story again every time it's brought up. In 2016, I heard rumors that Pokemon Go was coming out. It's like, what? You saw a commercial on the Super Bowl. You saw all these different things. And I was like, this is going to be great. And my friend Michael Mattis says like, oh, we're going to be the beta testers. I was like, no, this is it. This is perfect. And I remember being in Kuwait and Pokemon Go was not available in Kuwait. I remember seeing everybody at the beach. I remember, well, on the internet. I was in Kuwait. There's no beach over there. I remember seeing everyone in America on the beach, in parks, in cities, having these major, massive events, and it looked beautiful. If there's one regret I have in life, and there's quite a few, but the major one would be not being in the United States when Pokemon Go came out. Oh God, those videos. Apparently that summer was the summer. And I was spending my time in a third world country and there was no Pokemon Go there. Oh, I need a minute. And by the time I got back, the big hype was over. There was a couple people at the beach or at parks, but it wasn't like the videos that I saw where everyone's at the beach like, there's a Charizard over here, you know, and you all run to it like, oh God, if there's a heaven, if I get lucky enough to be accepted into heaven, I wish I could just do that summer over where I could go and be one of those people to be part of all these big things. I wish I could, that's the, and I know that's super selfish. Well, Chavez, if you could wish for something, wish for like the average IQ to go up 10 points or the, you know, no more war, you know, world peace and end world hunger. Yes, that is more important. But personally, if we're going to get a selfish wish, it would be to be in the US in the summer that Pokemon Go came out. I was so sad. And I was like at the gym. I was just like, I was trying to get huge. It was crazy. I will always remember that was a crazy year. That was a crazy summer. And yeah, I wish I could have experienced that. Like if I could grant you one wish, it would be, it would be that. Arturo says, I still play Pokemon Go to this day. I know so many people in the world still play it too. Agreed. NFT Heroes Pokemon will be insane. It would be. BSKA says, Pokemon, that's the app where you have to walk around, right? Yes, Pokemon Go. Arturo says, Epic. Yes. BSKA says, does Earth 2 still have potential? 100%. Earth 2 has so many people of so many different walks of life doing their thing in there. So many people trying to raid and get ether to get essence and get red energy and do claims for their resources and getting jewels and buying land and getting mentors and outfitting with the jewels and collecting more essence and doing more raidings. Yes, Earth 2 has massive, massive potential. I've never been wrong. And I already made money on Earth 2, so all of it's play money, but yeah. Great times. Cole T says, we love you, Randy. Love you too, Cole T. Cheers. Jordan Riz says, Pokemon Go was addictive for me. Yeah, I heard. BSK says, wasn't Randy a millionaire at one point when Omi peaked? I was a millionaire at a couple times in 2021 and 2022. It's possible that I could be a millionaire again by the end of this year, but most likely not going to happen. I would need to get like another 40 million Omi and it'd have to go to almost half a penny. Probably not going to happen by the end of this year, but who knows. Arturo says, BSK, Omi hasn't peaked yet. It has not. Palace Brandon Z says, did you get a Nemo? Hello, Dashi. Been a while. It has been a while. I did. I was super lucky on Nemo today. I got it. Sold one. And then on the buy now at the 15-minute mark, I got one. Sold it. So yeah, it's been a couple of good times. Jordan Reese says, at BSKA, yes, he and I both were. It was glorious. Lasted a few weeks, actually. Diamond handed it into the ground. BSKA says, Omi and crypto at large went into the abyss. Did. Jordan Reese says, it's starting to come back. And end of this year and next year will be insane. It will. Next year and 2025 is going to be the big one. It'll start to rise this year. I'll have multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars by end of this year, but the millionaire, we're going to leave for 2024. Multi-millionaire 2025. BSK says live and learn. Jordan says yep. BSK says having in 10 months. Yeah, baby. Prayer Drive says finally got a Todd before it pops off. Todd and Steamboat are the last two grails that haven't jumped yet. Good for you, mate. Get that Todd. BSK says 2024 might be a good year for crypto. It will 100% be. BSK says the best move was to sell the top on crypto and buy real estate. Yes, yes it was. Prayer Drive says also Vader and Superman are two that will pump. Agreed. Sneaker Chop says but chug for Loco. No. So I remember, I'm gonna bring you guys. Oh god. Oh, hold on. There we go. Over there. I'll tell you guys a story. When me and my friends were younger, drinking in a park, drinking in a field, go and get Taco Bell, come back and drink and look up stuff on Urban Dictionary. But not this generation. This generation's teenagers they're riding bikes and they're still going to a park, but they're playing frisbee and playing tag and they're getting pizza and they're filming TikToks. They're not drinking. They're not, which is good, I think. But I think that's part of growing up. I think part of growing up is doing really dumb, stupid stuff when you're young. And this way, when you mature, you say like, oh, I did that when I was young. I'm over it now. We're going to become classier. And, what are the consequences of not doing that when you're younger? Well, maybe I think that if you're not going to start partying until you're in college, now you're doing it and you're doing it for the first time and people are taking advantage and it's really messy. Is it good that kids aren't drinking? Yes, drinking is really not good for you. Even as adults, it's not good for you. But I think it's all about the experience. I think it's all about what happens when you go and you say, hey, the first time I'm drinking is when I have a big boy job, and then it's like, oh, okay, you don't know how to act and you're behind. It's like when parents don't let their kids date when they're teenagers. Okay, well, you're socially and emotionally stunting your kids. Good luck with them, getting a partner and having some. It's just not good, you know. Um, you need to let them be social. You need to let them date. You need to let them make mistakes and get hurt. So that's how you learn. I'm not a parent, and I know you want to protect your kids, and you want to say like, "Oh, hey, kid, if you do this, this is gonna hurt. So I'm gonna ground you and protect you." Who are you really protecting? The way you're gonna feel, or the way they're gonna feel. There was a there was a episode of Boy Meets World where Corey and Topanga are in this really crappy apartment, and the water doesn't work, and they need money to pay a guy to fix it, and they're poor, they're destitute. And Corey and Topanga go to his parents and they say, "Hey, Dad, can we just borrow like a couple $100? Can we do this?" And the dad's like, "No, no, no, you figure it out. I'm not this provider anymore. I'm not going to just give you everything. You have to figure it out for yourself." And as a viewer, as a kid at the time, you're like, "Ooh, Dad, like you got money, you got this house, like help a brother out, help a kid out." But then at the end of the episode, when Corey goes through this like montage of people, or of him saying like going through the stuff, and how you learn is just by doing, by trying to fix something, and eventually you do. And he's like, "Oh my God, Topanga, I fixed the faucet. I fixed this." And he goes to his dad and says, "I fixed it. I did it without anyone's help." And his dad finally says, "How you feel right now? I would never take this feeling away from you. And that's why I didn't help." And then it clicked in Corey's mind like, "Oh, you didn't help me not to be mean. You didn't help me because now then I had to forcefully figure it out by myself, and I did. And this feeling's a good feeling." And it was done in such a beautiful way. And I know I'll get back to Vivi in a second. Um,
I forget why. I think this came from Butt Chugga 4 Loco. I think, yeah, because kids aren't like that anymore. I feel bad for parents in the 90s because everything was so, maybe one thing changed every 30 years. You went from stories, people telling things by word and by hand to like, oh, hey, radio's happening. You can listen to someone on the radio, which is cool. But then parents will be like, oh, this person on the radio, you don't know who that is. Nobody knows who that is. This isn't a real thing. Listen to people in real life, and then suddenly you have television, X amount of years later. That gets demonized. That's expensive. And what is television? Oh, you sit your whole life looking at a box, and then color television, and then it's, you have rock and roll, and then you have, the hippie generation. It's like one thing happened every 20 years, and then you had the internet. You had parents where nothing changed for 30 years, and then you had the internet, and parenting for the last couple hundred years was pretty much the same. And then you had, what is this internet? They don't understand it. They don't know what's happening. And kids understand more about the world than they do at a very young age. And kids become smarter than their parents at a younger age. And it's scary. Parents didn't know how to handle it. And let's say if you were adopted like I was, and let's say you were smarter than your parents, it's like, okay, this creates a weird dynamic. The parents' lives are a wreck and the kid is doing all right for himself. And I'm just babbling here. Anyway, we're going to move on. BSK says Matic is a good buy right now. I like Matic. Arturo says bless you. Jordan Reese says I think Bitcoin might be one of the best altcoins. I love you. Biscuit says planning any more poke. Oh my God, Biscuits. I have to shoot you a message. I love you. I haven't talked to you in a while. We're going to message each other. Yes, I want a Pikachu. I want an Arcanine. I want so many different things. It says also plan on picking up any of the new. Yes, my friend has a couple. We're gonna do a couple on Whatnot on Sunday, so I'll keep you posted. Vivi Wheels says that's right. Hope you have an awesome day, homie. Oh, I'm Vivi Wheels. Hope you too. Jordan Riz says my three best altcoins: Omi, then Cardano, then Bitcoin, or something like that. There's a dollar Omi. Randy called it here for, well, I've called it for a while. Yeah. Jordan Riz says my kids still like playing Pokemon, the game, just a card trading game, not on PC or mobile. Interesting. Matt Johnson says, "Is Vivi Magic's wife?" No, no, they're Vivi Magic married Silicone's cousin. Yeah, I think Vivi Magic married Silicone's cousin. They're not husband and wife. Latrice says, "Hey Randy, hey Latrice, how's it going, girl? Girl, hope you're doing well." Archer says, "No, I bet you felt so upset about Pokemon Go in 2016. Even Bad Bunny referenced that summer in one of his songs, dude." I was dealing with the death of Harambe. I was dealing with ISIS. It was a 2016 was a wild year, and there's a lot that went on. I've done a video on the experience with ISIS and 4chan before. Chavez, did you just say 4chan and ISIS? Yes, I did. I'll tell it again real quick. It won't take too long. It was a couple days after Harambe's death. I don't know if you remember, Thanos would not come to Earth until, Thor's dad died. I'm forgetting his name. I don't know why it's escaping me. Odin. The same way Thanos would not come to Earth, the Nine Realms, until Odin died. ISIS would not create these videos until Harambe died. They created an ISIS recruiting video. We got emails about it. Everyone that was in the Middle East, from Turkey to Al Assad to Bagram to Kandahar to Ali Al Salem, got emails about ISIS's new training video. This was after the attempted coup d'etat in Turkey. And two days, this training video saying, oh, emails like, hey, watch out for this, whatever. The video had made its way to 4chan, not from me. It was from some random user. It's like, hey, here's this ISIS training video, And then the 4chan army at the time, known as Weaponized Autism, they had went and they did a deep dive on the video. Hey, here's a weird shed. Hey, here are 3 oil towers or power lines, whatever, 300 meters behind the shed. And they go to Google Earth and they find out where this is. And I go to my captain and I was like, hey, I think I know where this ISIS training video is. And she's like, what? And I was like, man, there's a couple people on the internet that got a hold of this training video. It wasn't from me. And based on the locations of this, and this, they think they've pinpointed the location. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, no, I don't, I'm not well versed in the Google Earth. I don't know how to check this. And she's like, well, if you don't have proof of it, I'm not going to go and put this in a package. I'm not going to go and put it, on the upline. And I'm not going to say this just to get laughed at. And she was a reservist. So it was just like, okay, fair point. I understand. You might get laughed at. You might not get, scheduled for a promotion if you go and you bring something that's a waste of time. So then somebody in the Russian military, and people don't know this, but the US and Russia did have joint military operations in Syria. That is not secret anymore. That is completely well known. I'm not giving away any secrets. Somebody from the Russian military gave it to one of the most famous Russian journalists, and he brought it to a higher up in the Kremlin, and they're like, oh, is the U.S. not doing anything about this? It just rained down hell for like 30 minutes, and that place was wiped off the map. And like this literally happened in 2 days. And then suddenly everyone on 4chan was just like, we did it! We took down an ISIS training camp! And I was sitting there, I was like, no freaking way. I felt like Patsy, what's her name, Trish Walker from The Defenders, who's Jessica Jones's like sidekick, where Jessica Jones is about to get smashed by this evil Asian dude from The Hand, and Trish is like, and then Daredevil comes in with, and then just knocks the thing out of his hand, and then Trish Walker's like, no freaking way. I felt like that. I was like, no way did 4chan do this. And it did. And I go to my captain and I was like, look at it. I would have gotten a medal. I would have been like a war hero. I would have been like, you would have seen statues of the real Randy Chavez out in the Middle East. And she's just like, oh, guess it was real. And I was like, you think. I was super salty about it. And she's just like, yeah, whatever. I will never forgive her for that. And yeah, that's how I almost became a warrior. Anyway. Latree says, people were walking off bridges and into traffic from that game. I wrote a couple of statuses about that. Yeah. Because they had like police offices as Pokemon Go stops. So people are outside of police places. It was wild. Arturo says, that ISIS story is wild. Thanks for sharing. Oh, dude. It's not the only one. We had so in Kuwait, like the Kuwaitis are not at the dining facility. The Kuwaitis are not cleaning our porta potties. The Kuwaitis are all rich. The Kuwaitis got that oil money. They got that Arab money. They got that oil money. So what the Kuwaitis do, like I feel like 90% of maybe 80% of all of Kuwait is not comprised of Kuwaitis. It's comprised of indentured servants from like India, from the Philippines, from wherever. And hang on one second here. They're from all these places.
And at one point, random week in the middle of the summer, like middle of July, it was hot AF. The people that cleaned our toilets, our porta potties, because we didn't have toilets, we had porta potties, they stopped showing up. The brown dudes, wherever they were from, they got kidnapped, and our porta potties were not cleaned, which was fine for like 2 days until we had this like 400-person army movement going from here to like Al Assad or like wherever they were going to, and they had a they blew out our porta potties. Like our porta johns were filled. You couldn't poop in there. The poop was filled to the brim. You could maybe pee in there if you wanted. But what people did for a couple of days was they would go out into nature. They would go out into the sand. They'd poop in the wild, pee in the wild. They'd cover it with sand, and they would come. It was insane. People were going and taking the MREs, the meals ready to eat, and they were breaking them open just to grab the napkin that was in there so they could wipe their butts, because we ran out of toilet paper on that day. And the dining facility had ran out of napkins. Like you could not wipe. It was insane. And this went on for several more days. I'm pretty sure there were girls that were doing things to get toilet paper. The best advice I could give you, wherever you're going, whether you're going to Kandahar, going to Bagram, going to Al-Assad, Ali al-Salam, you take toilet paper and you hoard that shit like it's gold. You bring as much as you can, because you are going to be king, and you're going to make so much money and food if you have that just stocked away. And then, after like a week, the people, they came back, and they were all beat up and shit. They had bruises on them. They were like hobbling. And I was like, yeah, we got kidnapped. I was like, what? So yeah, that was a thing. That was a real thing that happened. Anyway, moving on. Cold T says they could actually integrate NFTs directly into the Pokemon Go game, where you go out and catch some really rare ones and you can later sell. Everyone would be outside trying to catch some. Agreed. It would be. Arturos is damn. So I'm Mexican, so yes, I know toilet paper is valuable. Well, you get it. You get that, bread. All right, the last of the alcohol. I'm gonna drink some water here. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'm gonna need some food. Definitely need some food. Totally gonna do that. Collectibles. Oh wow, good stuff. If there's anything anyone wants to talk about, I've been talking for 2 hours. So if there's anything anyone wants to talk about, now is the time. Before I go to bed. There we go. Let me know, and I will answer the question. I'm good. Maybe I should do an interview with Dashi. I've only had Dashi for 6 years. What type of things do you think Dashi has seen? What type of wars and atrocities and travesties of justice has Dashi seen in his days? Has Dashi known love? Has Dashi gone on and experienced heartbreak? Has Dashi fathered any children? The duck that's on Dashi's head, is that his one line linking him back to humanity? Is that Dashi's only friend that he'll allow himself to get close to, because maybe he promised that he would never love again? How do you recover from heartbreak? How do you go and let yourself be hurt again? These are the questions I want to know. Does Dashi remember his littermates, his family, his mother, maybe his father?
What what hell did Dashi endure before he came under my protection? Maybe one day I will know. Maybe one day I'll do a podcast, and we shall see. We have Cold Tea saying, now seems like a good time to hear your news take on aliens. Um, am I, what's his name? And then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. I always believe in aliens. And I think that I'm very scared. Because when you talk about, you could take a vehicle into the Congo. You could fly, you could helicopter above the Congo and parachute in. And the beings of the Congo or the Amazon rainforest would think that, what is this? I mean, when you have the Amazon rainforest, you have an area of land that's as big as the subcontinent of India. And it is mostly uncontacted, where archaeologists have never gone into, and they've never really studied it. So if you go and you go in there and you could see some uncontacted tribes, and you could go and see beings and creatures that have never had human contact, they would think, what is invading my space? What is this new thing? I'm not sure of it. I'm going to want to avoid it. Let others interact with it first. Snakes, spiders, whatever. And you could go to any creature in the Congo and say, my name is Randy Chavez. I used to be a boxer. Until one day, and you join the military and whatever. You could have a simple sentence saying, my name is Randy Chavez. And they would have no idea what you mean. And it's a simple sentence. It's a simple communication. You can go, and I think I'm a master of communication. You'll be like, oh, Randy. Dashi. Randy. Dashi. And I feel like that's very, very simple. If I'm going to go to a being, if I'm going to go to an alien, I'm like, oh, and tap them on the shoulder and shake their hand and smile. Randy. I feel like if I were to go to any being, I'd be like, oh, Randy, any intelligent being, it doesn't matter, human, they speak the same language, or they speak human. Like, oh, Randy, oh, me, and let's say I'm speaking somewhere in a different part of the world, and let's say my name was Botwanson. Like, oh, you, Randy, me, Botwanson. And you go and you say, oh, okay. And I know we're talking about aliens, and I'll get to that in a second. If you go into the Congo and you go to any creature, it's like, Randy, something that's so simple as introducing yourself, and they don't understand it. Even like chimps. You go into the Congo, you go into the Amazon. It's like, oh, Randy. They probably don't understand. Maybe they might, and they might say it in their own chimp language. But if you say something like, I flew here on a helicopter, they have no idea what that means. And with chimps, we share over 98% of the same DNA with chimps. So if you say, even the simplest terms, Randy, home, you, home. Like, they're not going to understand. So when I think about aliens, again, we share over 98% DNA. Us and chimps are over 98% the same. We have to be, because the intelligence that comes to us is out of that 1.5% that's different from the chimps. So what if you have aliens that are also 1.5% different from us
in the direction that we are from the chimps. Chimps can learn sign language, but can they construct a sentence? Can they go and orchestrate a beautiful symphony? Can they go and appreciate art? Do they understand love? There's so many things that chimps don't understand, but they're so similar to us and they still can. So if you have aliens that are, and again, carbon-based life forms, that's, most of the entire universe is made up of oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, helium, which is chemically inert to us, and what's carbon, nitrogen, oxygen? Oh God, what's the other one? I forgot the other one. Aliens are most likely carbon-based life forms, so they are most likely very similar to us. And again, if they are 98.5% the same as us in the direction that we are from the chimps, they could say something and we would have no idea. The fact that their simplest sentence we might not be able to understand, I literally just got a chill, because that type of being would be so advanced. I don't know what the consequences of that would be. And I even asked the last two guys, Jason and Ryan, like, hey, if there's an alien, how would you explain humans? And if you thought you couldn't explain what humanity was, who would you take the aliens to go see so that they could communicate for us? And they didn't really have an answer. But if aliens came down like, oh, by chance you were the person that we came in contact with and they spoke our language, and said, we learned your language on the World Wide Web. How do you explain humans to us? How do you explain what humanity could be and what it is and the darker side? And there's so much to go over. And I would say, listen, I could tell you about my experiences in the different parts of the world that I've been in, but there are many cultures that I don't know. There are many things in the world that I don't know, that, what is correct and acceptable in the suburbs of Long Island. You might be subtle differences in New York City, depending on the restaurant you go in. And it's going to be different the way to address people in the South of just America, and then Canada, and then Central America. And there's, even within the US, again, even on Long Island, there's a lot of crime. There's a lot of, there's a lot of people that'll take advantage and will literally just shoot you for $60. Shoot you in broad daylight. Like, how do you explain that to aliens? Say, okay, well, listen, don't talk to these people. And then the aliens will be like, oh, wait, you're telling us not to interact with a lot of these types of people. And it's like, well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't go to these areas. And these areas happen to have these types of people. And, and it's just like, okay, well, what's the difference? It's like, well, it's a big difference. And if anything, I would take him to see Elon Musk. Maybe my friend that has really big connections in the U.S. government, or maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I would be very fair with the aliens, and I would tell things like it were. And I would say, listen, you can probably read my mind anyway, but I want this to be a mutually beneficial relationship. We know the earth. We know a little bit of the ocean. We know what resources we have here. And I don't know what, and listen, I'll tell you guys straight out, whether you can read my mind or not, I'll tell you straight out. If you want to trade, if you want some stuff that we have, we'll trade for some stuff that you have that can maybe help us. If you have medicine, you can cure diseases. I do not want you to give any governments of the world any weaponry, because that will 100% be abused. But if you can go to heal, give us medicine, give us stuff to raise our IQ points, give us something to raise our EQ, our emotional quotient. That'd be great as well. Can you make dogs live longer, please? That'd be great. I would say that I would make it so that they should not give any form of government any type of weaponry. And then I would say, but listen, if you decide to try to heck us, if you decide to try to make us into slaves, if you decide, like, we will literally blow up our own planet so that there's nothing left, so that you don't get to use this planet. We will literally destroy everything in this solar system so that nobody gets anything. That's how crazy humans are. And if you think humans are crazy, we have reason. Try to go and live in the Congo with a try to communicate with a hippopotamus. Try to communicate with sharks. Try to communicate with freaking the Helix fossil or the flying spaghetti monster. Cthulhu. This is not, humans are the most reasonable on this planet. Dogs are cool too, but, we're the best ones you have to deal with. And if you want our help, if you want to have some of these resources, it has to be a give and take. The religion's going to be really hard because, you've had the Pope say, the Pope has said, or the last Pope, he had said, I wanted to go, and if aliens were real, I wanted to be the first one up in space to convert them to Christianity. Well, that's really powerful, and I don't know. I feel like if aliens go, and there's going to be a lot of people that say, well, what about God? If he created us in his image, who created them? And it's like, okay, well, God can't do both. God can't go and say, hey, I can't have multiple creations, and you guys are pretty much siblings, you should get along. Aliens could go and really heck us. They could say, like, hey, we could do this. We could speak to everyone at once. They did that in Dragon Ball Z. And that's, go and have one person speak to one being speak to the whole world. That could really fudge a lot of humans up. Or humans could finally unite and say, okay, this is, maybe they could finally implant in us, inculcate in us, saying, like, hey, you're all one species. You should really try to survive and work together. I think that'd be great too, and that might be one of my conditions. Like, hey, you can do whatever you want, but, make it so that humans are nice to each other. And give everyone a sense of love. If they can't get it from other people, last resort would be to just take a drug or take a potion or whatever so they can feel love. Love is super important. Anyway, moving on here. Where was I? Oh, God. Latrice says people were walking off bridges. I read that before. Latrice says, did your AC go out, Randy, or are you sweaty from drinking? I do not have air conditioning. I have a fan, and I have my window open, but this place has air conditioning, but the owners of this house are like, hey, we're going to try to save some money, and we're going to try to we're going to use a bunch of fans, and we're not going to use the AC. Like, well, I've lived without AC before, so that. Arturo says, I've been watching the new Marvel Secret Invasion series, and them Skrulls be scary. I feel like we do have aliens like them Skrulls that have invaded. Yeah, that's possible. I do think aliens are here. And they've been on and off visiting for probably hundreds, if not thousands of years. I think that alien, or the unidentified flying object, it doesn't mean aliens, but there was an unidentified flying object in Las Vegas that maybe could have been from Area 51, could have been from Nellis Air Force Base, most likely Area 51. I know it's at Nellis Air Force Base. There's a blue light that fell from the sky. Again, just because it's unidentified doesn't mean it's aliens, but
you have that, and then you have a 911 call of people saying, oh, hey, an aircraft landed in my backyard and these beings that are 8 to 10 feet tall are there. It's like, okay, well, you really have to listen to that. And black SUVs going out the next couple days afterwards. Yeah, it's possible aliens have been here for a long time. Watt Mama says, I think aliens are interdimensional like Paper Mario. That'd be cool. I'd love to learn from them. I would love to go and, if I could ask an alien, be like, how'd you guys do it? How did you go from a type 0 to a type 1 civilization, or type 2, type 3, whatever they're at now? I want to know the history. Like, how'd you guys go and get over your differences? How'd you guys and not blow each other up? How'd you not go and murder and steal and pillage and like humans can be very animalistic. And how'd you get over, even I see it now, even ones that are supposed to be civilized in first world countries. There's this thing called relative poverty, which means that, if everybody's in poverty, crime is, whatever. But if you have down the road, you have this rich family worth 8 figures, and you're, whatever, the relative poverty makes people do crime. How did you get over that? How did you save your wildlife? How do you go and treat animals? I think it was Martin Luther King or Gandhi that said you can judge a country by how they treat their animals. How do you guys treat your animals? Do you still have animals left? Are you vegetarian? Do you still hunt? Do you have animals that are for breeding for food, but you give them good lives? Like, how'd you solve loneliness? How'd you solve how'd you solve the suicide rate? How'd you solve depression? Nutrition? How long do you guys live for? What are you here for? Humans aren't that well at coexistence. Are you scared? Can you help? Can you go and bridge the gap between people that don't know or care what's going on, and really inform them about what Washington's doing, what other humans have been doing to them? Can you help us be better? Can you fix my knees? Can you fix my back? Can you fix my shoulder? Can you extend life? Can you give us, and I realize I'm only saying, hey, what can you give me? I think dogs are taken from us way too early. I think you should want to have them in your life for a lot longer. I think you should have if you have a dog and then you have a kid, the dog only is ever able to see that kid for a couple of years, never for life. And I think a dog would like to see that. It's like when you breed Pokemon, you go and you have a Nidoking and you have a Furret, and you breed them. Okay, well, you have a male Furret that knows Earthquake, and you have this, and you're able to see the generations. And genetics are so cool. Genetics is just like, oh, your dad is this, well, you're this now. It's, how did you solve that, the genome code where you have adenine paired with guanine, paired with cytosine, paired with thymine, paired with uracil? How did you solve that? How did you go and the theory of relativity? What is string theory? All of these different things that I would ask aliens, and I wish I could go and, how do they feel? Okay, so here's another thing. They're probably super smart. IQ's probably like 300 or 500. And it's like, okay, well, do you ever go and clap human cheeks? What does that mean? Do you ever go and do humans? Do you ever go and have intimate relations with human beings? And if so, what race do you like the best? What do you do for fun? Do you go and take DMT? Do you take acid? Do you go and you fly your aircraft drunk or under the influence? What's your favorite race? What's your favorite type of person? What's your favorite type of entertainment from the US? Is this a reality show? Why didn't you come in sooner? What stopped you from going and helping people before this? Again, there's so many different types of things I would love to ask. Um, I think I would be really good. But again, I'm biased. So X Forces, what up, fam? Go back to your ranting. I was really enjoying your 2 cents about life. Miss you, my boy. I miss you, friends. I miss my friendos. Matt Johnson says, Randy, you feeling like a champ yet? I'm feeling. Can I quote SpongeBob? Because I'm feeling some. Arturo says, Planet of the Apes series was interesting. Planet of the Apes was good. I've seen every single movie that Planet of the Apes had. Good stuff. NFT says, many chimps smarter than the average person. Prince Toby says, werewolves are real. One night I was up late, couldn't sleep outside the guest room. Couldn't sleep. Outside the guest room, I saw 2 figures so black. They stood out from the night. They were 7 feet tall, had pointy ears, and were on the hind legs. Prince Toby, did you see the goat man? Prince Toby, you go and you Google search the goat man. You will not be sorry. Matt Johnson says, thank you for your service, Randy. That was the best time. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. No, this is not a tale of two cities. This is the military. I miss my friends so much. Do anything to be with them again. But when they're scattered all over the globe, some are in Utah, some are in Kadena, Japan, Antarctica, some are in Jersey, some are like there's so many different places they are. Oh God, I miss them so much. I should get a couple more of them on the podcast. Should message him. Tell him, hey. John D. Chang says, crazy how 2 years of Vivi go by so fast. Many more years to go. I'm so lucky. We're so lucky to be here at this point. And we don't know it yet, but it's going to get overcrowded very, very easily. And then we're going to be like, eventually we're going to have to play. You know how people play the sniff test? Oh, is this pair of drawers clean? Is this shirt clean? You know, I think that's a guy thing. People are going to go to Comic Con. It's like, oh, Vivi, yo, Vivi, you know, and be like, oh, I don't really know Vivi. I just, I like the hype. And it's like, oh, okay. All of us are so into it now. It's just going to be a thing that everyone's going to want to be a part of. And they might not have that respect for Vivi. They might not have that knowledge of what came before them. It's a little sad, but I mean, as long as Vivi's growing, this doesn't really matter too much. Where was I? Prince Toby says, honestly, if aliens aren't spiky-haired warriors that scream aggressively and can manipulate ki, I'm gonna be pissed. It's awesome. Prince Toby says, he's goated. He has many layers. Like an onion, they have layers. Matt John says, damn it, Randy, it looked like you were going down a little bit ago. I caught up, and damn, brother, you back like a champ. Trying. Prince Toby says, when Randy gets drunk, first he gets really happy and silly, then he becomes a philosopher. I love you guys. Bill Gunner says, what up? I'm back from playing volleyball at camp. Randy, 2.5 hours in. Yeah, boy. Cole T says, Vivi should give us a first appearance Randy Chavez drop. They will do something for influencers at some point. Who do they give? I don't know. I'd like a Sleepin' Comics drop. I'd buy a statue of him. I'd buy a statue of Vivi Magic, Metaverse Life, Comics and Crypto, K Collections. I'd buy obviously Taps. I'd buy a Foster Hilt, Dr. Profit. I'd buy a bunch of people. I love it. Well, they're my friends. I love them. Cole T says Vivi should give it. Oh, I just read that. Watt Mama says, I really hate to say this, but after my current 4-year-old golden retriever, which I love dearly, We'll probably look into a robot dog. Think we'll have robot dogs in less than 10 years? Probably. You can make them cute. You can make them have AI so they can listen to you, like Goddard from Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. I don't see why not. Yeah, I think that's very possible. Maybe not 10 years, but close. X Forces, yo, Randy, did you see the new trailer for Dune 2? It looks epic. I haven't yet. I still haven't seen Transformers. I still haven't seen the Flash movie. I haven't seen a lot of things, and I really need to see them. I'll keep you posted. Prince Toby says, if they do make Randy drop, he's gonna have to be overly exaggerated. Like really king beard, a giant VV shirt, and either a big belly or shredded abs. Oh lordy. I don't really have shredded abs anymore. In the morning I kind of do. See myself in the mirror. Looking good. But we'll see. I'll keep y'all posted. Well, I've been talking for 2.5 hours, so I'm gonna bounce. If everyone could please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I love you all. Class dismissed. So bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. Thank you guys for being here with me and letting me rant and rave. I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, meow, meow. I love kittens. So do I, meow, meow, maniac. Bye, guys. Meow, meow, meow. All right, now. There's the X. Meow, meow. Meow, Randy.